their back line too. Luke Ryan has been probably that loose player or the general, but they've got so many different options and so many availabilities to them, and their list is really sound, which we've spoken about earlier too. So I don't know how Adelaide are going to play them. I actually don't. I mean,
Lost for words, Jamo?
What's the...
Lost for words?
I'm not lost for words. I think Adelaide have got a really... Like, Nick Murray will probably go to him, I would think. And he's incredibly physical, and hates losing. Hates it with a passion, like more than most defenders too. Like, he seriously gets angry. So I'm not too bad at the moment. It'll be the restriction and the amount of football. And you touched on one of the stats too, that Adelaide don't keep it in their forward hard enough. You know, like, so they're always under pressure. They're always in contest. They're always battling to get hold of the footy and get it back up the other end to give the defence or certainly the higher half forwards and wings a breath. And I think that's what they've got to try and work on to be able to allow the Adelaide's forwards to have more of the footy and have more shots on goal.
When Adelaide are at their best, they're suffocating in their inside 50. And they just have not looked like that at all this season. They're allowing the ball to exit, and stats don't lie. But it's just their ability to, create pressure and lock it in, like their desire. I think we've probably seen Luke Pedler be the one to really, pressure those small defenders. When he the likes of, Zachy Taylor, he kicked a few goals last week, but just those small forwards to have, more pressure around that forward arc of the 40 to 50, because it's just coming out way too loosely.
It's carried over from last year where they went out in straight sets, where Adelaide's last 6 games they've lost the inside 50 count 5 times, and the only one they actually won was by a solitary inside 50. So they really haven't been competitive in that stat, and it's ominous for tonight. This is, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because Fremantle fans will get frustrated. They've been in this position before. They have a lot of talent on their list. They've had it for the last few years and just haven't been able to really maximise it. But you walk into tonight, you'd feel like Fremantle are favourites despite the fact it is on the road under the Friday night lights. On the text line 0437 774 774, Richard from Geelong says, tuning in while making smoked trout risotto for dinner. Jamo's welcome to come over.
That sounds amazing.
You got an invite from Richard, so you can... I don't know, it's probably too expensive to hop on a plane now, but maybe you can bike your way over there.
I love risotto, and I'm a big fish fan. Had fish for lunch today.
Josh in St Agnes says, good evening, team. Looking forward to seeing how this plays out. If the Crows don't salute, is it season over for them? Always hesitant in a 23-game season to be 1-3, but there's a lot to play out still, but it puts them in a bad spot, Josh. I don't think they'd want to be there. And John from West Footscray says, happy Easter to everybody. North Melbourne, the most improved team in 2026. They're 3-1 after, again, coming back to beat Carlton, who have blown a second-half lead once again. So the Blues were 22 points up. North Melbourne ended up winning by 10 to go 3-1, and there's a lot of pressure on Carlton and Michael Voss. We'll hear from him in just a moment's time.
You'd have to have Gold Coast up there.
As in terms of the best teams?
The most improved.
But they kind of went elimination final to premiership contender. Yeah. North have gone from bottom 4 to maybe finals the way they're going.
Oh, stop it.
It's early.
You're around
it's early. It's early. Yeah, quality of the opponent as well. But yes, we'll hear from Michael Voss very shortly. But I do want to check in with the Adelaide Crows because Josh Money's made his way around to the other race. Josh, back down to you with Mick Godden.
Thank you, Aaron, and Gotzi, thank you for your time. You've had to deal with some late drama, not 1 but 2 late outs. How do you sort of deal with that as a footy department?
Yeah, we were reasonably aware that there was risk for today, and obviously disappointing for those guys to miss out so late. But yeah, we were ready for it, and it's next man up, isn't it? And we've had a bit of a tough run, in the last few weeks. But we've got a great team out there tonight, and we'll give it a good shake.
Did Fogarty get close? I didn't see him warm up.
No, not really. No, we were pretty confident of that this morning that he didn't wake up well.
Finbar, on the flip side, Finbar Maley, probably unlucky last week, with his performance to come out of the side, so a reprieve for him. What do you expect from him tonight? Yeah,
he'll just compete. He did. He took a couple of really nice marks last week, and he, back in the AFL system, so he's, this game speeds up a bit, but he'll be better for the run, and we just expect him to compete up there, and he gives us that really, strong contest, and then he follows up on the ground. So, yeah, he's excited. He's an excitable sort of player, and looking forward to see him out there.
Bittersweet for Chase Jones, who comes into the side. Game 100, a little understated. I don't think his family's had time to get over. He's been such a talked about player given his high draft pick. Can you tell us about his contribution to the club behind closed doors?
Yeah, look, he came to us when we were sort of on our knees as a footy club, and he's done it tough along with a lot of us. And he's had an up and down time so far, but maybe this is just a beginner for him. And play 100 games is a great achievement. His in-laws are here, which is great. His wife and kids, and unfortunately his parents aren't here. But I said to him before, they'll have to come to his 200. So he's a good lad, and he's great for our footy club.
We've been wondering when you'd pull the pin on playing both rucks. It is tonight against Freo, who have a similar setup. What would that split look like between McAndrew and O'Brien?
Yeah, it'll be leaned a little bit towards McAndrew, obviously. But yeah, we'll just see how that plays out. Obviously, we've got the opportunity now to make in-game changes if required. They may even go forward if needed up there as well. So, yeah, but at this stage, Lockie's been doing a really good job for us, and Riley's been plying his trade at the Sanford level. So we're comfortable that both of them will handle that load tonight.
Is it the state of play now with that 23rd man that you can almost have a ruck who splits his time between those contests and the bench?
Yeah, most definitely. I think the four-man bench is fine, but with the five-man, it's just a little bit of a luxury. So it's a little bit tougher to manage, actually, because some of them do get limited game time. But, I think it works okay for us having Rob and Lockie there.
Freo, one of the most informed teams in the comp, particularly when it comes to contests. How important is that area for you to match tonight? Yeah, we've got to match them in that. They're a very good footy team, and they're in good form, and they've just got stars all over the ground, but they don't rely on their talent. They're just a hard-working team. So we pride ourselves on that, and we've had a couple of quieter weeks, and we're determined to match that tonight. I asked Jade Rawlings about it. I'm sure Riley Thilthorpe and Luke Jackson have gone head-to-head in the ruck before, but maybe not in the midfield. How enticing is that as a possibility?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It'd be good to see, actually. Maybe that's a new way footy's being played, and a couple of 200-centimetre boys in there would be good fun.
You've got a couple of issues down back. James Borlase now comes into the side. How much tougher are those outs when you have to deal with a guy like Josh Tracy?
Yeah, he's a star, Tracy. He's a real star. And but James Borlase's been in great form in our Sanford. He's been waiting for his time. And, disappointing, obviously, with Keeney being out and then Butsy getting concussed. So, we call on him when he's ready to go. And it's a great opportunity for him to play on such a great player. And, our back line, they work together really well. And tonight will be, be challenged in that space.
Do you read anything into your primetime record? I think it's 2-7 in Thursday and Friday games since the start of last year. Do you still have a point to prove against the best teams on the biggest stages?
No, most definitely. I didn't actually know that record. That's disappointing. We'll have to change that tonight. But no, look, we know we're not a finished product. You very rarely are in AFL footy. So, but tonight these are the sorts of games we want to be involved in. So to be involved in, you've got to win them. And tonight's a big challenge.
Thanks, Dotty. Best of luck tonight.
No worries at all.
Mick Godden downstairs with Josh Money as the Adelaide Crows make their way out onto the Adelaide Oval, 1-2 this season. A close victory over Collingwood. Some nail-biters with the Western Bulldogs and Geelong, but arguably, and this is entirely down to perspective, we'll get into this in a moment, statistically they were dominated in those two games, and now we find out where they really sit against a Fremantle side who is also vying for finals in season 2026. Aaron Bryans and Tom Wilson with you for the call for Good Friday footy on ABC Sport, alongside Rod Jamieson and Ebony Marinoff. Earlier, North Melbourne winners by 10 points over Carlton, who were up by 22 in the last quarter, and it happened again to Michael Voss's Blues. Choking late, letting one slip, and I'm sure the Blues faithful around the country will be incensed by it. You can give Corbin Middlemass a call tomorrow morning from 12 Eastern Daylight Time as part of AFL Saturday and let your voice be known, because I'm sure it's a dark place to be in if you're a Carlton fan. We did hear a little bit of from Michael Voss as well in the previous game towards the back end of his presser, and in just a moment's time we'll get his instant reactions to that loss. But just quickly, Jamo and Noffy, wanted to ask you about that perspective of the Adelaide Crows. Where do you actually feel like they sit? Because I can see the two arguments where it's, we took two really good sides right to the wire when we probably didn't have a right to be in it, and we had a lot of injuries, and the Geelong game was off a 6-day break and they'd had the 12 days. It was at Cardinia Park. So there's a lot of ways you can justify how they got to the point they got to. For the Western Bulldogs one as well, you can kind of say, look, for three quarters, they really owned them. They blanketed their offence, and Adelaide finally flipped the switch in the fourth quarter and again showed what they could do on offence. It just depends where you lean, if you're glass half full or glass half empty. But what is the reality right now for Adelaide?
I would say reality is underperformed in two games against really strong outfits in Geelong and Western Bulldogs. I feel like even the Collingwood game, Collingwood are probably sitting there saying, oh, we let that one slip. But I thought the energy and intent around getting Collingwood done at the MCG, we hadn't done that in a few years at the Adelaide Footy Club. But I think the poor starts as well is a serious red flag. You can't afford to come into these blockbuster games in a night and allow oppositions to get scoreboard pressure on so early. And I think that's really hurting them, especially with it's still a young side. Like this Adelaide Crows outfit is not experienced. Yes, they've added experience with the likes of Alex Nilbullen and James Peatling from G2S Giants, as well as Isaac Cumming. But this is still a really inexperienced side in terms of these big blockbuster games. And their ability to start well has just not been it.
It's funny, it starts to become a bit of a trend, doesn't it, when Matthew Nick says we're a bit slow to get going for whatever reason against the Western Bulldogs, but then you get to the Geelong game and he says we were still on the bus, and you go, gee, it's happened in back-to-back weeks, and that starts to raise some red flags in terms of how they go about it. We'll see if they can get going early against the Fremantle Dockers tonight. A couple of late changes, so Darcy Fogarty and Isaac Cumming out with injury and illness. Means Chase Jones is playing game 100. Finbar Maley in as well for Adelaide. Fremantle unchanged, looking to go 3-1 to start their season. All right, you've been begging for it, Blues fans. You've been very patient after your 10-point loss to North Melbourne when you were up 22. This is what the senior coach had to say in the fallout.
Oh, I think in this instance, in this game, I mean, you can't put a sort of, a blanket over the whole, not on this one. There's one out of the 4 games we've been able to finish, and we've put ourselves in position to win the game and have the opportunity to be able to do that. So that's the positive, but it doesn't help how I feel right now and how we all feel. So we walk away extremely disappointed. What we'll have to do is continue to give it perspective, though, in those gains that were made, but then really go after, where are those parts of the game that sort of we're letting ourselves down in. And like I said, we're coming in 5-6 minutes, little patches, and we're going to have to be better than that.
How do you feel right now?
Oh, we're all hurting because when you put your body on the line and you're invested in something, coming off a short break, guys were really quickly switched into this game. We understood the significance of the game from just what the actual game meant to people. And I thought our players really embraced that moment. It took ownership completely of the previous week game. No one shirked the conversation. There were some pretty tough ones had. Looked in the eye, went for it. But, it's not enough. So you still got to earn it, and we didn't earn it. Jeez, it's hard to put last year's measure into this. And I said, as I said, the old and the new, and the new is that we've obviously clearly got to make progress as a football team, and quickly. We've played our 10th new player in 4 weeks, so that doesn't give it any particular excuse. It's just that they are the facts. We've taken longer than what we want to tighten that up a bit, tighten our system up a bit. And so we've gone to work really hard on that. And clearly it's right now, it's also saying it's not enough. So we have to find where that next level of improvement comes from.
Michael Voss speaking there after North Melbourne's 10-point win over Carlton, in which the Blues led by 22 points with 16 minutes to play. It's the 9th time in the last 27 games Carlton has led at half-time and lost. And it is just 6 days away from the Gather Round opener against the Adelaide Crows, which you'll be able to hear here live on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson, Ebony Marinoff with you for the call for Adelaide and Fremantle tonight. The text line 0437 774 774. And one listener says the Crowies will lose and they'll be baying for Matthew Nix's blood if they can't get the job done. It is early in the season, but you always feel a little bit of pressure when you're 1-2 and you've got a big heavyweight opponent coming to your city. Good crowd in attendance, though, given it is the long weekend and a lot of people in South Australia love to travel through the regions. We're getting about 40,000 in the house tonight as well, and a couple of late changes with Darcy Fogarty and Isaac coming out for Chase Jones and Finbar Maley. Jamo, Noffy, How does this play out tonight? Who's winning and why?
I just want to comment on that Michael Voss one. Did I hear that correct? He's had 10 players debut to round 4. So if you look across Adelaide did 1 debut player last year for the entire season, and here Port Adelaide did 8 for the entire season. He's done 10 in 4 weeks.
Some through injury, I guess some through selection, but
that doesn't
have to be club debuts.
Yeah, that'd be club debuts.
With Ainsworth and Florent and Haywood.
It's a lot of new faces, though, isn't it?
It's a lot of new faces. Again, and I think from a distance, he is trying to own everything, and that is a theme and the wording that or the commentary that he places through it. So the players own it, we own it, and that's almost every week. So he's not trying to divert it. He's copping on the chin.
He's
very helping.
He always does.
He does. Yeah. I do feel it's in the Ken Hinkley last year territory where, you're getting to a point where, Ken was different because he was out of contract and we had a successor, the Port Adelaide Football Club. We all knew as commentators and fans who the successor would be in Josh Carr. But it was the same with Ken. We own that 70-point loss. I mean, there's not much more he can say. I get it. I just think for Blues fans, I think it got to a point like it did with Port fans. That doesn't help.
No. I'm just intrigued from the overall. Like, they've had 12 coaches in 25 years. Getting rid of another coach is not going to change their predicament right now.
Essendon's in the same spot, though, Jamo. It's, if it's not working, do you make change even though you've continuously done so?
But they haven't had that many coaches either, too. And to be fair, you've got to be careful what you ask for, because they've actually moved on a couple of coaches they probably shouldn't have to inherit other coaches who have actually got a good track record.
All right, plenty of time to talk about the Blues tomorrow. AFL Saturday, 12 Eastern Daylight Time.
When does this game start?
I was going to say in a couple of minutes. You can give a call to Corbin Middlemass, Luke Ball and Mick Malthouse tomorrow morning and let your feelings known about the future of the Blues. It's a big 2-hour show as well, so plenty of time to get your calls. Let's look ahead. Jamo and Nobby. We've got another big game in front of us. I know there's a lot of fallout from the first one, but there's a lot at stake tonight for these two teams as well.
Well, I'm looking right now at Pearce and Dawson. So these two captains are going to have a big say tonight. I think their ability to lead and really take the game on their hands is really important for two really strong leaders. I feel like they both lead in different ways, but both phenomenal players. But for the Adelaide Crows, I think they're going to have to really get their hands dirty in this midfield, where there's always question marks around this midfield. Isaac Rankin, everything he touched last week turned into something, but he needs to get his hands on it more. Josh Rochelle will play in the guts tonight, and he will be a predominant midfield. If I'm Matty Nicks, I don't want Sam Berry to turn the game on in the third quarter. He needs to start well. If you're going to be this next young brigade, you need to start well. And for Fremantle, on the other hand, if they want to be serious contenders, they're the favourites tonight. They can really tear this game apart. With Adelaide's injuries, if I'm a Fremantle supporter, you win this game by 8 goals.
Ball up incoming on ABC Sport. Josh Money's got his eyes on the two teams downstairs. Josh, who's kicking where?
So Jordan Dawson, the returning Crows skipper, has won the toss, and they will kick towards the northern end of the ground in this first quarter. Ebony Marinoff is spot on as always. Josh Rochelle starting in the middle for this centre ball up, and so is Lockie McAndrew. I'm expecting a 70-30 split between he and Riley O'Brien. Coaching director Murray Davis told me. So watch out for that one. Looking forward to seeing the 4 rucks go head to head.
Got that from the horse's mouth.
5 changes for the Crows, none for the Dockers. Heavyweight clash between two finals contenders on ABC Sport. Here's Tom Wilson with the call.
Pumped for this one on Good Friday footy. Jackson up against McAndrew. Gets the handball towards Sarong. Wrapped up by Rochelle, but got it away to Bolton. It's all the way at centre half back for the Dockers. And a short pass up looking for Murphy Reid, but working hard in front, doing well for the Crows, was Alex Neil-Bullen, who got his hands on the footy and kept it in play. So we'll have a ball up. No, too high, says the umpire. So he wins a free kick there against Wagner and plays on quickly defensive side of centre wing, members side of the ground. Long ball up towards Maley. Was he pushed under it? I hear the whistle. He was. So the number 36, the late in, goes long up towards full forward looking for Thilthorpe, and he keeps it in for a moment towards Rankin, who thought about doing something special but is happy for it to go out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in 25 metres around from the Crows' goal.
Looks like there's going to be a couple of juicy matchups. Hugh Bond has been in excellent form coming into the Adelaide Crows team. He's standing alongside Murphy Reid.
Trying to do that lockdown roll on the Rising Star. Tossed in Adelaide's 50. McAndrew misses the tap. It bounces past the ruckman, and Brayshaw with a hospital handball missed his target. Warner becomes the tackler on Berry. We'll get a ball up. 25 out at the moment, slightly left of centre. Crows kicking towards the hill. Jackson down to Brayshaw. They get it out of dodge. Wagner throws it on the boot, but it lands fortuitously in the lap of Bond. Just burst away from Reed. Read it off the boot. Takes the mark just inside 50, Hugh Bond.
Such a congested area, isn't it, too? Quick hands out the back and just a quick kick forward. This is in Bond's range, too.
15th game for the fourth-year product. Hugh Bond has never kicked a goal, and that might be why. Got close to the man on the mark, hooked it across the body, and it's through for a minor score on the left. Adelaide on the board first, though, are behind in the first 2 minutes on ABC Sport.
He does predominantly play back.
So the Dockers waste no time bringing the ball into action. Warner's got the footy at left half back. Asked to play on by the umpire, lowers the eyes, finds Cox. Ball, Brennan Cox, just outside the D50 for Fremantle.
Pocket profile, Tom. Brennan Cox.
He's inspired by your haircut, Jamo. Is that what it is?
Well, no, not that, but I've got a couple of little things on Brennan Cox.
Can you bring them through the play, please?
I will.
Worrell took the intercept mark from that kick, goes to Wayne Millerer, who goes in board near the centre circle to Rochelle. He wants to play on quickly. They don't want to get caught stagnant this week, the Crows. So Rochelle pumps it inside the forward 50. Keys gets a run at it, fisted down. Rankin just overruns the crumb. Riley Thilthorpe gets his hands on it, throws it on the boot. Way would kick out towards Maley, but he gets there in time in the right forward pocket. Marks in front of the scoreboard about 25 metres out right in the paint of the boundary line.
Even then, we spoke earlier about Adelaide's ability to keep the ball inside their forward 50. That's Riley Thilthorpe, just keeping the ball alive and not allowing Fremantle to exit.
Real cult figure already at Westlakes. Finbar Maley goes the banana. The check side. Check yourself. It's his first goal for the Crows and the first on the night. What a start for Adelaide. They're 1-1-7. Fremantle yet to score.
Well, we spoke earlier around what do we want to see from Adelaide, and it's time in possession football and footy in their forward half, and already we've seen that. 2 inside 50s, and it's been up there. Fremantle have tried to get it out of their defence. Adelaide have had 8 disposals, and they've had 8 kicks. 10 to Fremantle, 5 kicks, 5 handballs. So maybe early signs suggest that Adelaide just want to cover ground and get it down into their forward half.
Even with Josh Roselli in the centre, just his ability to keep speed on the ball. We've seen over the last couple of weeks, Adelaide Crows have been a little bit stagnant, allowing teams to come in and defend. That's excellent play.
They've won near 55% of centre clearances when Rochelli's involved. It's a league best, so not surprising to see him in there at the moment. McAndrew down, but only found Sarong, who arcs around the centre circle for the Dockers. Hands it out wide. Inbound step from Brayshaw and then pumps it low and hard into the 50. Backtracking was Voss. Knocked away late by Worrell. Flicked out towards Murray for the Crows. Gives it to Dawson. They've done well under trouble, but the kick is no good out of defensive 50. Straight towards Warner, who marks at the attacking edge of the square. We'll square it up to Jordan Clark, who's close to centre half forward. Crows by 7 at the moment.
Let's have a look at this triangle.
All-Australian halfback Clark sends it inside 50, and Tracy launches with a huge knee to the back of the head as he cleaned up Worrell in the end. Unrealistic attempt, and might have been taken at the back anyway. Mark taken, and Adelaide will move it out of defensive 50.
So Worrell kicks it out. Michael Annie was the one that copped it there.
That's smart.
And that's fisted up towards the centre wing. Keys overran it. Berry's in there. Did well to get it to Neil Bullen. Underground kick almost towards Taylor, who had his head taken off. The umpire didn't see it. Hear the boos from the fans. Crows leading by 7 points. Ball up just forward of centre wing members' side of the ground. 5.5 minutes gone in the first term for ABC Sport. Knocked down Brayshaw to Bolton. Goes up towards right half forward. Murray roves it for the Crows. A dangerous handball back in board. Tracy got in the washing machine, did the spin. Got tackled, handball to space. Sarong's out there, got a 2-on-1 with Dawson, who's back in the team. Looking forward to that midfield matchup. He gathers the skipper, gets it to Miller off to Cook at right half back.
Can run through the Williams stand and then send it through the eastern side. Kick was a little hot in the end for Maley, but out the back door, picked up well by Pedler. It's going to go Frio's way. Whistle, free kick. Warner will take it. Left half back.
Yeah, this is your area of expertise with the midfield. Like, already I think early Fremantle would just get the footy out really wide from stoppages and congestion to allow the likes of Bolton and Sarong to get hold of the footy and get clear.
Crows by 7. Warner goes down the line off hands. Front and square was Sarong. He uses Reed. Right in front of the Rashudo stand, tight angle 55. Murphy Reed will lower the eyes, centre the kick on the march. Jackson was the target. Bolton nearly cut it off. It's good to Rochelle. He's under pressure. 4 to beat. Handball cut off. Dudley there. Clothesline. Collared 20 from home. Little bit of afters as well as Isaiah Dudley is pulled up off the carpet. And he will get a set shot to come on that 45-3 angle to the left.
At 168 centimetres. Jordan Dawson's right arm has gone over the right shoulder of Isaiah Dudley. He's done very well offensively too, but incredibly quick.
7 goals, 3 in his first 3 games. The supplementary selection pick all the way out of Centrals here in South Australia. Isaiah Dudley gets one back on his home turf. Margin down to a point. Adelaide 1-1-7. Freo 1 straight 6. 7 played. Opening term for Good Friday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Ebony Mariner.
Well, there's nothing more frustrating when you're probably a taller guy on a little fella when they shrug their shoulder, but unfortunately that's definitely a free kick there. It was actually a really... That's unlucky tackle, but it's there. But it was Adelaide. They brought the ball back inside to Freo's forward line instead of punching it out. But very potent that forward line. I think they're going to be under the pump. We've already seen a couple of inside 50s and a few bodies crushing packs. They're just trying to kill everything at all expense.
So the Dockers on the board through Dudley. Get the margin back to 1 point. Jackson up against McAndrew. McAndrew knocks towards Bolton. Quick hands. Found Jackson and they're running forward. Oh, clever stuff in there from Peatling with the intercept handball. Dawson in a one-on-one contest goes to ground. Feeds it all the way back. Jager O'Meara at centre half forward. Lowers the eyes. Hits the target. Good mark there from Voss. He'll have a set shot 45 metres out on a slight angle away to the right.
That's what you can't do anything about as a defender when you're just disposing in like that. Nothing Josh Worrell could do. See if Patrick Voss got some swagger. See if he brings it out tonight, eh?
I reckon that's an understatement, Jamo.
Let's see it.
It's been a bad day for Vosses so far. Can Patrick lift it here for the Dockers at Adelaide Oval? He knew it straight away. The double Cobra. The Dockers go back-to-back. That's their second. They go to 2 straight 12. Adelaide 1-1-7. 9 minutes gone in this first quarter.
Well, that's just another centre bounce clearance win and goal for Fremantle. I think the last couple of times we've seen the centre bounce, Fremantle have certainly got on top with their ability to use their hands and overlap. And like you said, Jamo, that's hard to defend. And if you're Josh Worrell, you can't do too much on Voss there. But again, Jackson involved, just that follow-up work. We spoke about it in the pre-match, but you like the Adelaide midfielders to just put some more pressure on this handball game. Fremantle are trying to get going.
Now this is going to be fun. Sean Darcy's in the ruck. Luke Jackson's in the midfield.
I really like what Alex Pearce, the captain of Fremantle, just did then. He's deep defence. He's gone in and had a chat to the midfield of Fremantle after that goal was scored.
Dockers by 5, and we're not going to see the highlights because there's a whistle out of the ruck contest going Sean Darcy's way. The big man looking a little mobile as he plays on. Steps across the left, inside 50. Michael Annie throws his body in front, knocked it down though to Voss, who gives it to Luke Jackson. Floated forward from 40, sends it home and misses to the right. Dockers 2-1-13, Adelaide 1-1-7, 10 minutes into the opening term.
That's what you get. Sean Darcy, is kicking the ball, and Luke Jackson's been able to run and create another scoring opportunity for Fremantle.
Embarrassment of riches. All coming out of defence for Adelaide. He's grabbed the footy, but was immediately wrapped up by Pearce.
Yeah, Eb, I'll get you to have a look at the clearances on the screen right now in terms of what Luke Jackson has been able to do.
Yeah.
So ball up. Darcy.
Not one Adelaide player has touched the footy in clearance work out of 6 opportunities.
Johnson kicks it inside the 50. It gets out the back, and Dudley's there to clean up, but just pushed as he kicked. It goes away to the right-hand side, minus score.
You've got to really get defensive and goal side with Fremantle. I've been watching a couple of stoppage, and they've just been allowed too much space around the contest.
So stoppage is outstanding. McAndrew from Adelaide's had 6 hit-outs. Darcy hit-outs to advantage Jackson, but it's all clearance work. Brayshaw, Jackson, Johnson, Darcy and Sarong.
Worrell plays on and loads up with a long ball to the centre square, but it's coming straight back in. Erasmus nearly got it to Amos, who was surging out of the goal square. Kept tracking it, though. On the bounce, hands it to Brayshaw. Back out of the 50. Hot one. Sherry sold his teammate into a lot of trouble. Making it work is Johnson throwing it on the boot, and it lands in the lap of Voss. Just hit it into the hole, and it works in the end.
That's a mismatch, that was too.
Was it ever?
Nick Murray's out the back here. I think Jackson, they're just trying to see who's who with Jackson floating forward. Chase Jones ends up on Patrick Voss.
Just the 5 combined goals between him and Amos in the first 3 games. It's been the Josh Tracy show, but early on, Patrick Voss taking over this contest. Starts bang on the paint of 50. Barely an angle to speak of. Patrick Voss close to the man on the mark, and it hurts his shot. Wayward left. Fremantle lead by 8 in the early stages of this Good Friday blockbuster on ABC Sport. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson and Ebony Marinoff with you.
Plus 5 scoring shots going the way of the Dockers. Ominous signs here for Adelaide. That's a long kick straight down the pipe, Jamo.
Outstanding kick. Nick Murray's hit the centre.
Yeah, all the way down in the middle of the ground for a ball up.
I'd like my driver to go that far.
And straight.
Yeah, straight, please. I'd actually rather go straight than distance.
Brayshaw with the clearance off to Reid. They're working well here through Erasmus. Back to Brayshaw. Very handball happy all the way to Reid. That's 7 in a row for the Dockers. Good pressure from Peatling, but Reid does get away. And his kick, good pressure because it ends up with an intercept. Braden Cook, he plays on quickly. Off to Rankin. He's just drawing Pearce in and handballs over to Peatling. Runs to right half forward, looking for a target. Dawson with the fly over the top and takes the mark at the top of the goal square.
Well, Jordan Dawson, he'll be wanting to get this one through with his free kick he gave Dudley. But you spoke about, Tom, that's that pressure that Adelaide were able to put on in Peatling and just get a bit of an intercept, and you get forward half ball movement and a little bit harder for the Fremantle to, find a man quicker than that. Much better ball movement, and that's the luxury that you have with Dawson, his aerial capabilities when he swings forward.
Can do it all, Jordan Dawson, and he's back into the team and stops the rot for a moment. Levels it at 2 goals apiece. 2-1-13 Fremantle, 2-3-15 halfway through this first quarter for ABC Sport.
Well, at one point there it was almost double possessions to Fremantle, so they had a hold of the football. They were repeatedly going inside their 50, 9-3 in their favour, but that just small rushed kick, the pressure that came from Adelaide, you spoke of and called, just back over, it just left Adelaide with a whole heap of space. The defence of Fremantle had pushed down, and just those darts, those low football kicks that actually just cover the distance, which is so dangerous, where your defenders just wants to hang off a little bit. But Jordan Dawson, as Eb just called out, the ability to be able to go forward airily is absolute credit to Adelaide to be able to pull that trigger. Dan Curtin out of the side, who normally does that too.
Dockers by 2, Darcy down, but Peatling gets the handball out to Barry. Feigned the kick on Sarong, then gives it to Neil Bullen, who brushes off the dual All-Australian. Handball out towards the broadcast swing was a hot one. Wagner tried to trap it, but couldn't control the ball. Rochelle off a step, inside 50. Phil Thorpe nearly reeled it in with his mitts. Hard tackle late as well, as he crunches McVie. Ball up to come, 30 out. It's a big night for Riley Thilthorpe in the absence of Darcy Fogarty, and he's pretty proppy as well, given he pulled up short in the captain's run, but he's giving it all right now. Riley O'Brien wins it down. Tracking it is Rankin. Coming the other way was Pearce. It ricochets to O'Brien. Beautiful handball to Thilthorpe. Gave it to Taylor. They're mucking around with it. It should have been a shot from Tex 10 out, and instead they've turned it over. Wagner, head over heels, gets the handball out towards Darcy, then Pearce, and Cox will thump it out of there errantly. Belly of the ball, out on the full. Free kick Adelaide, 40 from home. it should have been a simple goal, and they just overused the hands, Jamo.
Well, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not normally critical of your call, but I thought you were a bit hard on Taylor. Like, there was so much pressure there.
I don't think it was Taylor's problem. I thought they just put him in a bad spot.
Well, I think he tried to give it to Rankin as a touch and a quick way through, but Rankin then actually fumbled.
Either way, it's going to get a set shot.
Good defensive work, Fremantle, deep, under pressure, Adelaide.
Neil Bullen on the tight angle, opens it up, tries his best to squeeze it through, and it's a minor score on the right-hand side. Fremantle by a point. 2-3-15 to 2-2-14, 16 played, opening term on ABC Sport.
Geordie Clark to bring it back in for Fremantle. Long ball to the corner of the square. O'Brien gets first hands on it. Can hear a whistle. Going the way of the Dockers.
The umpire in the middle there, Tom, has called that against the umpire that was actually in play. He's called play on now.
So Worrell against Voss. Voss goes down the line. O'Brien gets in position up against Darcy. Two big boys going at it. Somehow got rid of the footy. Play on, says the umpire. Berry's in there, so is Miller up. And too high. Just the tackle slips on Reid. So just forward of centre wing, Murphy Reid plays on, looking for a target inside the forward 50. Amos dropped the mark. Amos rather dropped the mark, and you can hear the jeers, the boos. They're saying the spoil was across the shoulder, so the Dockers will have a free kick 30 metres out directly in front.
Oh, you could say possibly just copped it, maybe sort of tricepped in the back of his head when he was actually spoiling for the mark, so the faintest of high contact.
That hurts though. That's 3 free kicks with Fremantle just marching the ball down for a shot on goal.
Jai Amos, 35 metres out on the left boot, goes straight through the middle, makes Adelaide pay. They go to 3-3-21, Adelaide 2-2-14. 18 minutes gone in this first quarter for Good Friday footy for ABC Sport.
One thing you've seen tonight is Fremantle's ability to get up on the lead. Like, it's so hard to defend, and that's what creates these free kicks, because how do you defend that? If you're a forward, your job is to lead and make it so hard for them to defend. I've seen multiple occasions tonight Fremantle's ability to just lead up at the ball. I don't know whether that's, a bit more argy-bargy prior to the lead, but that is tough to defend.
The multiple options that they've had in Tracy, Voss, Dudley, Amos, Jackson, they've all contributed. Either 2 or 3 of them have across the first 3 rounds. The other one's been quiet. So they all play their role. They all know when to step up, and they all present well. You've got Jackson down there new. Tracy still down there along with Voss in that triangle deep in their forward line.
Dockers by 7, tap down. Erasmus tackles Barry, head over the footy. Towing it away is Rochelle. Bolton's tracking him, brings him to ground. Rochelle bobs up with the pill though. Kicks it inside 50. 2-on-2 there. Cox is racing, but Walker back with the flight, puts his body on the line and takes it. It was nearly a full-on car crash. Walker dove back with the flight as Brennan Cox was coming the other way. And she's done well to get there in time.
His immediate opponent in Luke Ryan didn't even look at the football. He was just trying to outbody Taylor Walker under it. And then Riley Thilthorpe and Brennan Cox were coming at him. Very good contested mark.
Managed off the 6-day break last week, but
he should be fresh.
He's looking pretty good. Turns 36 at the end of the month, Taylor Walker. Comes in, straight line shot, but it started left, just across the body. In the end, another minor score. Fremantle up by 6. 3-3-21, Adelaide 2-3-15. Phil in Victoria on the text line says, gee, supporters are fickle. Take a page out of the Eagles book and stick to your team. Imagine that's to the Carlton supporters who'll be a bit miffed after they lost to the Roos by 10 earlier.
They did get rid of Simpson. Handball away from the Dockers. Got it to centre wing through Bolton. Defensive side of centre wing. Looking up the line towards Tracy. Well fisted down there by Borlace, but Bedley roved by O'Meara. Goes back to Erasmus. Good pressure here from Adelaide. Just forcing him back for the time being. And working hard there was Johnson to kick up towards right half forward. Whistle again. Going away with the Crows this time. I think they were pretty nervous for a time there, but it goes against Voss. Worrell got the free kick and goes all the way back to Bond in the left back pocket. The Crows trailing by 6 points.
6 frees to Freo, 4 to Adelaide.
Bond short and sharp. Passes it out to the left back pocket. Worrell, short little chip kick to Rochelle.
He's loving the midfield time, isn't he, Josh Roselli?
Kicks up through the broadcast swing towards the logo. Players converge, but flying highest is Heath Chapman. Got the launch on Taylor Walker and takes the intercept for the Dockers. They're up by 6 at the moment. His first round pick really starting to flourish. Had a lot of injuries in the early stages of his career, but Chapman's now finding the footy, sending it inside 50, and Tracy clunks it around 4. An imposing figure, Josh Tracy, who's got an eye on the Coleman at the moment, the way he's tracking. Set shot to come. Will be about 35 out, slightly to the right, and there's a little bit of concern downstairs for another tall target, Josh Money.
Yeah, Aaron, just a watch on the Dockers bench for Jai Amos. Had the HIA as he came to the bench a moment ago, and the Dockers just going over some vision now. I'll keep you posted.
And the cheers as Josh Tracy nearly milks his entire 30 doing his shoelaces up. He's now just starting to get back on his mark.
So Taylor Walker is 35. You've still got another 10 years ahead of you.
Hopefully.
If not more, what did Erin Phillips get to?
You could play the first female to actually play 300 games.
We'll have to play a few more than the 12 games per year, Jamo.
Well,
maybe you get over to good old our mate Dylan over there and bump up playing everyone once, hey? That'd be beautiful.
We've got a new head of football in Laura Kane, so maybe you can ask her. Josh Tracy crosses the paint of 50. Nice strike of the ball, and he turned before it even got close to home. Celebrates with his teammates. Josh Tracy on the board, and all 3 of the Dockers' tall timber have a major. 4-3-27 to the Crows, 2-3-15. Time on in the first on ABC Sport. Fremantle by 12.
He's got a unique kicking style too. Like, he holds the footy really high, his hands, but also the footy itself is up around his waist when he walks in. Doesn't come in with a whole lot of speed, but just strikes it well and kicks it high. Effortless in the end. 2 goals, 1 in round 1, 4 goal 1 round 2, 4 goal 3 round 3, and he's on his way up with his first in the first quarter here.
Even then, Nick Murray's playing so back shoulder. He's just giving him all ability to jump at the ball. I know it's hard to defend, but when you're on, I guess you're on, and he's certainly in some form.
Darcy straight down to Sarong, but Miller read it best and took the intercept mark at centre half back. Goes short to Taylor, who plays on near the centre circle. Gets it inside the forward 50. Working back was Darcy. Coming out was Maley. Ball in dispute. Maley gathers, gets it to Berry, who snaps from 45 metres out. Sam Berry slid forward and kicked the goal. An important one for Adelaide. They go to 3-3-21. Just stopped the flow of goals from Fremantle. 4-3-27, 23 and a half minutes gone.
Fast becoming my favourite player for Adelaide. Like, just he's improved out of sight in the last 12 months.
And he certainly has. Like, I think I knocked him a little bit in the pre-game because he's when he's on, he's strong, he's robust, he looks great. Last week against Geelong, I thought he was just a little bit slow to get in the game. If Adelaide Crows are going to win this game, they need Sam Berry on from the start because he can do those types of things.
Started the round 8th in the league for centre clearances, Sam Berry, which is, you're talking about all the heavy hitters, your Bontempellis and your Dacosses, and Sam Berry,
he's up there
amongst the best.
Well, he's like a John Newcombe from Hawthorn as well, the way he plays, body type, body size.
Dockers by 6 on ABC Sport. McAndrew down. Rochelle becomes the tackler on Sarong. Ball up to come just outside the centre circle.
Fremantle clearances 9-3. They're winning the football where they need to.
Rod Jamison, Ebony Marinoff, your experts tonight. Jackson down looking for Sarong. He's doubled, gives it away. Berry hands it to McAndrew. They get out of there. Dawson tucks it under one arm. Tracking him though is Jackson. He just won't relent. Impacts the kick as it rolls its way up to left half forward. Getting there in time is Cook. He walks it over. Now we've got to be careful with this new interpretation as well. You do have to at least try to keep it in now as a result of what happened last week with Tom Atkins, but the umpire's called for a ball in.
It's almost an oxymoron. You kick it to the boundary and then your teammate runs and touches it to take it over the boundary, and it's meant to be a last touch rule.
Yeah, they'll change the rule next week, I think, Jamo. Quick kick around the body. Big fist from Dawson at centre wing. Got it straight to Rochelle, looking for Cook as a runner. Throws it on his left boot. Just up forward towards Saligo. Gathered hard there by Pedler. He just handballed it straight to his opponent in McVie. His kick was partially smothered. The quick kick coming out now from the Dockers. Voss gathered the footy, did well, gets it back to Sarong at right half back. High ball down the line looking for Tracy, and he did well to bring it to ground with the gather. Handballed it off to O'Meara. Just watching everyone run past was Switkowski. Handballs to Voss. Over the top to Reed. Short ball to Jackson. Miller got there with the spoil. Oh, and the umpire's paid a free. You're not allowed to defend anymore at Adelaide Oval.
That's pathetic. That is incredibly...
That hurts. As a footy spectator, that is just a brilliant spoil.
And he said it was in his back.
Jackson sets it up top of the goal square and flying to mark it is McAndrew. Got in front spot with the big mitts. Highest point takes it.
There's footy karma, I swear.
It was an interesting one. He collected some of the arms in the spoil, but yeah, the umpire signalled push in the back, and I don't even know if he was anywhere near that. Worrell thumps it out of there. High ball 3-on-3. Dawson had an arm over the shoulder from Jackson and gives it to the Unicorn as well as he gets the free kick and wants to go quickly. Gathers the footy and drills it low and hard through the broadcast swing. Scouting it though, Heath Chapman gets in front of Pedler to cut it off. Fremantle footy, they're up by 6. Late in the first term, he'll square it to Luke Ryan. Back towards the 50. Jackson's backtracking, but well held. McAndrew got there and it freed up Michael Annie to cut it off. Intercept as he heads back towards left half back, and here's Taylor Walker.
Wheels around on that right boot, looking long at Pedler. Did they get a touch, a partial spoil on that one? The umpire says it was, so we'll have a throw in 75 metres around from Adelaide's goal. Left half forward, Nick Murray's just on the bench getting patched up for the blood rule, so down a big man in defence.
Nearly the quarter's been played out. Isaac Rankin with the only one disposal. Quiet game last week with 6 touches. What does Matty Nicks do to inject him into this game?
Yeah, good call, Noffy. Boundary throw in. McAndrew knocked it down and it was quickly wrapped up at the bottom of the pack, so we'll have another ball up.
Get him in the middle. That's where, just throw him in there for 4 minutes and light it up.
Jackson knocks it down, overrunning it was Berry. Dawson just picked it up off the deck. Brayshaw gave him no real opportunity to get rid of it, and I think Dudley thought he was going to get it too high. Look at that.
The tallest and the smallest.
Hey. McAndrew versus Dudley. Can we get a size check, please, Jamo, while the play continues? We will have another ball up. The hardly moved really here on centre wing.
Lockie McAndrew is 210 centimetres. And Isaiah Dudley, the smallest man on the ground, is 168.
He's still fighting for it as he knocks it over the boundary line. It's a full David and Goliath matchup, isn't it?
42 centimetres.
Isaiah Daly looks like he could be playing mini-league at half-time.
Josh Money on the boundary on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it was managed last week. Taylor Walker now on the Crows bench, getting some work done, maybe on his hip. I'll keep it posted.
Freo by 6. Darcy Fogarty the late out. Riley Philthorpe was a little proppy coming in as well. Now Taylor Walker on the bench. Out of the stoppage. Berry under duress. His handball no good. And a last disposal free kick over the boundary line to Fremantle. Murphy Reid. What a star he's becoming. Averaging 22 touches already, and it hurt Crows fans. He was 4 picks after Sid Draper. He can't get on the park at the moment.
He'd be another one Adelaide would love to have on the ground.
Reed down the line and he found Miller. Here comes the turnover blast. Michael Annie surging through the middle, kick to an out number. Saligo had 2 to beat, but he did enough to bring it to ground. Warner should have taken it. Swarming is Rankin. Sweeping handball into the 50, didn't quite hit Neil Woolen. McVie cuts it off. Clark running out of room. They're under pressure in defensive 50, the Dockers. Erasmus tries to get it out of there with a dinky kick. Awkward bounce over the head of Rankin, who was waiting for it. Coming the other way is Amos for Fremantle. Warner to the middle of Sarong, and now out back McVie through the logo, down the line. Michael Annie again racing out of defensive 50. High mark, drives it into the 50. Philthorpe gets a hand on it, couldn't reel it in. Saligo, the tackler on Chapman, dropped it. Crowd want a free kick, won't be paid. Warner becomes the tackler and a ball up to come. 45 out inside 50 for the Crows, who were down 6.
Saligo's first tackle. He hasn't had a touch yet in this game.
Chapman took the player on, he got tackled, and then he just dropped the football.
Normally holding the ball up towards centre wing, knocked away from Voss.
They're the rules, Tom.
Ball filled out the back, and we're in the centre square. I actually think you're a very fair judge, Jamo, and the fans are getting angry, and it's creeping into your blood. From the ball up, Jackson grabs it out, handballs it to Sarong, who goes over the top to Switkowski at centre half forward. He's got a runner in O'Meara, chips it inside to Dudley, who marks 45 metres out on an angle slightly way to the right.
Look at the size difference there. Josh Tracy's actually having a chat to him. He's jumped in the way of the lead, so two different options that he went to, would have got the same result. Dudley got the length.
It's a real, I think so. You'd want to hope so, because I reckon Tracy had right away behind that. So,
So Dudley is going to take a kick at 50 metres after the siren, going for his second, and some big momentum going into the second quarter. Made the distance, but away to the left-hand side. So a minor score to finish for Fremantle. They go to 4-4-28. Adelaide 3-3-21 at quarter time. Good Friday footy at Adelaide Oval.
Great game of footy so far in front of over 40,000. And all individual goal scorers at the first change. Voss, Amos, Tracy and Dudley for the Dockers, and for Adelaide, Berry, Dawson and Maley. Couple of late changes, so Darcy Fogarty out with a back issue. Isaac Cumming ill, means Chase Jones came in. Hasn't touched the footy though. And also they got Finbar Maley back into the side, who I mentioned is on the goal scorers list. Aaron Bryants, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson, Ebony Marinoff with you for the call as well. Earlier, North Melbourne winners over Carlton by 10 points, but the story of that game was that the Roos were down 22 and the Blues have again thrown away a second half lead. It was a final quarter lead in this occasion. On the text line, it's a bit of a mixed bag. We've got listeners who are all about this game and others who are still reflecting on the last one. Diane, who's in WA, says, I've followed the Blues for more than 40 years. I didn't swap when the Eagles came in or when Fremantle entered the competition, and I'm not changing now. I'm going to follow my team through the great, the good, the bad and the ugly. So shout out to you, Diane. It's a difficult time to be a Blues supporter, but sticking fat with them. And Derek in Port Adelaide said Isaac Rankin's body language doesn't look the best. Ball bounces over his head and he just stands still. He's averaging 11 touches per game, Isaac, after his career best 20 last year. And so far in this contest, hasn't really made a dent. 2 touches in the first quarter. It is Fremantle by 6 on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
Okay, ready?
Little listeners have a new space to get all their favourite podcasts.
Hooray!
Like exclusive new episodes of Bluey Listen Along.
Let's dance to celebrate!
Create a kids profile today by heading to the Kids tab on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Riley Thilthorpe gets his hands on it, throws it on the boot. Wayward kick out towards Maley, but he gets there in time in the right forward pocket. Marks in front of the scoreboard about 25 metres out right in the paint of the boundary line. Real cult figure already at West Lakes. Finbar Maley goes the banana. The check side. Check yourself. It's his first goal for the Crows and the first on the night.
It's good to Rochelle. He's under pressure. 4 to beat. Handball cut off. Dudley there. Clothesline. Collar 20 from home. The supplementary selection pick all the way out of Centrals here in South Australia. Isaiah Dudley gets one back on his home turf.
Jager O'Meara at centre half forward, lowers the eyes, hits the target. Good mark there from Voss. He'll have a set shot 45 metres out. Been a bad day for Vosses so far.
Yes.
Can Patrick lift it here for the Dockers at Adelaide Oval? He knew it straight away. The double Cobra. Off to Rankin. Just drawing Pearce in, then handballs over to Peatling. Runs to right half forward, looking for a target. With the fly over the top and takes the mark at the top of the goal square. Can do it all, Jordan Dawson, and he's back into the team and stops the rock for a moment.
Chapman's now finding the footy, sending it inside 50, and Tracy clunks it around 4. An imposing figure, Josh Tracy. He's got an eye on the Coleman at the moment, the way he's tracking. Josh Tracy crosses the paint of 50. Nice strike of the ball, and he turned before it even got close to home. Celebrates with his teammates. Josh Tracy on the board.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Close contest to wrap up your Good Friday doubleheader. It is Fremantle by 6 at the first change. 4-3-27 to 3-3-21. And we're currently trying to, moonlight as private investigators, trying to figure out what on earth is going on, because it was the Dockers by 7 and that Isaiah Dudley behind on the siren has been removed. Whether or not he deviated enough off his line and they've decided to call it play on, we'll find out for you. But currently it is the Dockers by a flat goal, 4-3-27 to 3-3-21. Earlier today, North Melbourne winners over Carlton by 10 after the Blues were up 22 points with 16 to play in the final quarter. So a lot of pressure on Carlton and Michael Voss heading into gather round when they'll open against the Adelaide Crows on Thursday night. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamison, Ebony Marinoff with you for the call tonight. Jamo and Noffy, what'd you make of the first term?
I thought it was a great game of football in terms of seeing some of their stars light it up from both teams. I do think Fremantle have complete dominance in the midfield, and their ability to win clearance is something that would be worrying signs for the Adelaide Football Club. I mean, Caleb Sarong's had the 10 disposals, Brayshaw with the 7, and Reid getting busy when he comes up to stoppage as well. But I think the ability, Adelaide's defence to hold up was strong, but for Fremantle, they looked like they had most of the momentum. Probably should be a little bit more in front, but I really enjoyed seeing Adelaide's forward half pressure. I spoke about it in the pre-match, and there's been a couple of instances and contests that I've seen a bit more endeavour and fight to keep that ball either alive or more just, we've seen a shot on goal from Neil Bullen from a turnover because Fremantle defence were under siege. But in all, if you're a footy fan for Good Friday, it's been great viewing.
Love footy. I think from a Fremantle perspective, that's almost a complete quarter of what we know that they're capable of doing. They're 35 more disposals efficiently. They're probably off the boil a little bit. Adelaide, I felt, played more efficient football, albeit the stat itself in terms of disposal efficiency, well, there it is, 72 to 60 in favour of Adelaide. Fremantle only had 11 marks. So they've held possession, but they've sort of just kept it alive as opposed to maintaining possession. But they're contested, uncontested. Probably the uncontested for me, 58-33, too much. Adelaide have got to shut that down.
Dockers by 6 and looking for a statement win on the road. Jackson wins it down to start the second quarter, down the throat of Brayshaw. He's wrapped up by Dawson. Umpire waited an eternity and the ball finally came out. It was a throw. They take the advantage anyway. Rochelle drills it into the 50 and Walker's on the march. Takes it bang on 50.
Well, Adelaide being able to win the first clearance, they are being absolutely smashed in that particular area. Fremantle have been too good, 12-4, all Fremantle's way. Adelaide needed to win that, and here we are, Taylor Walker having a shot on goal.
No Darcy Fogarty tonight if you're just joining us, a late out with back soreness. It's the Walker and Thilthorpe show. The Texan gives it everything he's got. From 55, it starts right, not coming back, and Brendan Cox gets there on the behind line with the fist and forces a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, he didn't hit that, didn't strike it well.
I don't know, we saw him a couple of weeks ago sling one from the boundary, but he doesn't have his kicking boots on tonight. He usually slots them from 50.
Boundary throw-in, deep in Adelaide's forward line. McAndrew knocks it down. Working hard was Finbar Maley, handballed it to the big ruckman. He's gang tackled and will have another ball up about 25 metres around from the goal. Trailing by 6 points Adelaide early in this second term. Jackson grabs it out of the ruck. Not sure how he got rid of that. Cleaned up Peatling as well. Gets the handball away to Bolton. Swung in the 360. Handball just wrong. Underground handball. It's still with inside the forward 50, and then Peatling grabbed it and kicked it out on the full. Not the smartest work there from James Peatling. And Geordie Clark will get the free kick in the left back pocket for the Dockers.
We'll switch through defensive 50. Brennan Cox takes it on the goal line. Really starting to settle as one of the Dockers' key backs now.
He's an Adelaide 36ers fan.
Woodville West Torrens man. Brennan Cox back in South Australia. Up to right half back.
Never caught public transport either, Aaron.
Well, Transperth can be dodgy at times. Alex Pearce has it in front of the Rashudo stand. Down the line he goes on the eastern side. Tracy's his target, cutting across. Borlay's got a hand in. Miller now squares it up a little bit too hot. Trying to get it to Rochelle. Heavy delivery. Caleb Sarong takes the intercept mark. He's in the centre square for Fremantle. They're up 6. Sarong searching, kick into the 50. Miller has got back to knock it down. Bond will blast it back out of there. Threw it on the boot on the bounce. And a mark taken to send it back in. McVie gets there in time. He's on the logo. Out wrestling, Jake Saligo has barely made an impact in this game. Wide 45. Mark taken by Johnson. He's in front of the Odie stand.
He went in and had that heart operation, didn't he, a couple of weeks
Minor
ago?
surgery, but Crows were always hopefully play round one.
Aaron, heart surgery.
Yes, I said that, didn't I?
You said minor.
Yeah.
Multiple too, not just
that
one,
was how
Aaron.
they reported it. Minor heart surgery. And Fremantle go inside 50, ball hits the deck.
I would have
Stoppage.
thought anything on your heart is pretty serious.
McAndrew down to Peatling, kicks it out to the eastern side. Ball hits the deck again. Walker traps it well, gathers and snaps, but no one's ahead. Paddock, and it rolls over the boundary line. It'll be last disposal free kick to Free. I know what you're saying, Jamo. It's always scary when you have heart surgery, but the club were very upfront about the fact that it was only a minor one.
Using the club's language, Jamo.
Okay, roll with that.
So McVee's got it right half back, handballs it off to Cox. He switches on to Chapman. Defensive side of centre half back, all the way to left half back, and Clark. You know how well he uses the footy. So still no score in this second term. Almost 4 minutes gone.
Adelaide have been able to hold them up. In their first quarter, they were just all moving forward, but being able to transition.
Spakowski dropped the footy, play on, says the umpire. And we have a pack of players form here. We'll have a ball up forward of centre wing in the way of the Dockers.
It's a better start from Adelaide.
You're right. It's become a little bit more defensive and slower play for the first 5 minutes of this quarter.
McAndrew went without it, and Jackson got the handball towards Bolton in bright pink boots. Lowers the yards, goes inside the forward 50. Strong contest between Murray and also Amos, and it's going to go the way of the Crows. Fans weren't sure. I think the umpire pointed the wrong way there.
They'll boo anything, Tom, that isn't their way.
Murray's got it.
He sends it back towards the broadcast wing. Phil Thorpe rises. Jackson front position knocked away from him. Neil Bullen fumbles but didn't really have the footy. Umpire says he threw it.
It's a hard one. This rule interpretation, it's the holding the ball has been lost.
Brayshaw to the top of the goal square. Tracy outnumbered. Hits the deck. Murray can't reel it in. Falling into the footy. Handball comes out. Tracy gets it to Murphy Reid, who misses to the right. It's a minor score. Dockers by 7, 5 minutes into the second quarter. Just a follow-up on the minor heart surgery thing, Jamo. So his pre-season wasn't really interrupted.
No.
Jake Saligo. Yep. So he played the pre-season games. He was in the trials.
Yep. So they had heart surgery.
Crows bring it out through Cook from left half back. Kicks it down the line. That's a beauty to Maley. Got some run here. Speaking of the man who's had heart surgery, Jake Saligo kicks it up high for Riley Philthorpe. Waiting at the back of the pack there is Neil Bullen. Just couldn't quite gather the footy. Pearce took on the tackle. Philthorpe wrapped him up, and that's holding the ball. And they've taken the advantage with Keys, and it's a shocking bounce for Walker. Bounced over his head. Cox gathers, and they're able to bring it out here. The umpire's called a free kick as well. Oh,
why would he do that?
Very unlike Neil Bullen. Rush of blood. It's a free kick to Philthorpe.
Prior to that,
it was Keys' rush of blood, rather.
Disastrous footy out to the eastern side now. Adelaide might get another chance. Fremantle's exit out to a pack. Miller is out the back door. Uses Peatling, gets it back. Miller to McAndrew, but again another whistle. Non-controlling umpire this time. Seen something he didn't like, and a free kick to Fremantle.
I'm trying to work out what these frees are actually for. This is ridiculous.
Don't know where to look tonight. There's plenty of action out there between the Crows and the Dockers.
This one says...
Voss has it defensive edge and ships it to Jordan Clark.
Taylor Walker on Brennan Cox for free after disposal.
So it would have been an off-ball free kick that's paid where the footy was on that eastern wing. Jordan Clark, short pass, true centre wing now. Matty Johnson has it. Dockers by 7, just the point in this second quarter. And we're 6 minutes in. Johnson short pass to Murphy Reid. Fans are getting a little bit restless. It's a little too easy, the ball movement for the Dockers right now. Reid will finally let loose. Towards the 50 he goes. Backtracking with the fist is Worrell. Dawson's there as well. Hands it back. McAndrew to his skipper. Dawson running out of room. Bolton's closing. Has to hook it across the body. Waiting for it was Johnson, coming late. Cox with the fist, and it rolls over the boundary line. Here's some good news though. Dan Curtin spoke to Fox during the break. He's currently out for what the injury report says 5 to 7 weeks, Jamo. But he told them he's hoping to be back round 8, which would essentially make it 4 to 5.
Moving very well at training, yeah. Rochelle gets the clearance from the boundary throw in, but goes away to the left, out of bounds on the full. It's the showdown. He'd be back full, so a big game to return in.
Docs are probably saying 5 to 7 and he's saying showdown.
Answer your question earlier, Isaac Rankin has started on the bench and still there at the moment. And Isaiah Dudley for Fremantle also on the bench.
Luke Ryan's kick down the line ended up in the hands of Erasmus. inside the forward 50. Handball wide to Shea Bolton, who had a super game last week, but that's too far to the right. Another minus score. So just the two behinds this quarter, both to the Dockers. They're 4-5-29. Adelaide 3-3-21. 8 minutes gone.
I think we all know and understand what Isaac Rankin can do with the ball in hand. I'm not quite sure playing him deep forward and not having him around the footy. I don't know what all those decisions are, but it's just too special not to be impacting games.
Rochelle missed his exiting kick, looking for McAndrew. It was cut off by Jackson, back inside 50, and Amos takes the mark. 25 out, tight to the right.
Fremantle just keep pumping it inside 50. This is their 7th in this quarter, and we're only 8 minutes in. Adelaide have only had the 2. Fremantle, with a lot of the footy, it's taken them a while to get going.
Could it be a costly turnover? Amos around the body, couple of steps, screws it through. And the Dockers up by 14. Amos has 2. 5-5-35 plays 3-3-21. 9 minutes into the second term for Good Friday football on ABC Sport. And shout out to the Dockers fans who've made the trip. Decent contingent on the hill in front of the northern goalposts. Although it's going to be, I think, 95 to 5 tonight in terms of the crowd split.
Yeah, there's not many there, is there? Look at the crowd at the northern end. That is extremely full.
Look at the hill.
Yeah.
In terms of this second quarter, if you're looking at the kicking disposal, Fremantle are kicking the ball at 87% and Adelaide at 47%. So when Adelaide Crows have the ball in hand, they're making poor decisions, and when Fremantle have the ball in hand, they're making good decisions, and they're putting scoreboard pressure on. Like, that is a massive statistics barrier there. That's elite for Fremantle.
Well, in the first quarter, Eb, they only had 11 marks. In the second quarter, at this point, Fremantle have already had 13.
Johnson with the clearance for Fremantle, gathered by Neil Bullen, though, at centre half-back. Goes to Bond to Millera. Out wide now. Good contest there from Chapman. 2 Crows go over, Rochelle and Taylor. Taylor gets back to his feet, gathers the footy. Quick handball to Dawson, who handballs it high towards Clark, who's pretty happy for this to go out over the boundary line, right in front of his teammates. And we'll have a boundary throw in. The Dockers leading by 14 points. Another stat, 23 uncontested possessions to 13 it was at that ball up there.
So it looks like Isaac Rankin has moved up to the midfield. So let's see if he can get the hands on the footy.
Darcy down, just missed Johnson. Murphy Reid was there, though. Couldn't gather at his bootlaces. Has to become the tackler on Neil Bullen. Ball up to come. So quiet-ish night for Isaac Rankin, as I touched on. Averaged 20 touches last year, just the 13 so far this campaign. And currently battling tonight with just the 2. Out of the stoppage, Fremantle again surge towards the 50. Handball Shane to Brayshaw, who pulls the trigger from 55. Spotted the unguarded goal square, and Andrew Brayshaw understood the assignment. Fremantle with back-to-back goals. 11 minutes into the second term. They lead by a game-high 20 points. 6-5-41 to 3-3-21. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Ebony Marinoff.
Well, they continue in the clearance work around the ground, in the middle of the ground. They just keep winning the football, and then their speed of ball use by hand, it just spreads and gives them the space, and a really open forward line for Fremantle on that occasion too. But the ability, Andrew Brayshaw, he had an option for a lead, but there was space behind and had plenty of time to settle down and made the right decision.
Even then, Bond was, a metre or 2 off Bolton. Like, if you're a defender, you're just not giving him that much room.
Riley O'Brien into the ruck, trying to change things up, but the handball goes to Reid to Johnson. Dribble kick forward, Dudley fumbles, got Jones for company and Thilthorpe as well. And the umpire's picked him. That is stiff. No prior opportunity. Inconsistency continues, going both ways.
It's like a Land of the Giants attack on Isaiah Dudley, isn't it?
It was.
Like McAndrew on him earlier. Now Thilthorpe.
O'Brien, that kick is turned over though. Bolton handballs to Dudley again. Kicks up towards the forward line. In front is Amos. Just dealt with his opponent at the top of the goal square, Michaelani, and then took the mark on his chest. 20 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Yeah, well, I might need you to just yell out the window just to tell him to tighten things up around the contested footy, please.
That was just a complete missed kick from Riley Thilthorpe to Josh Rochelle, and Fremantle were able to, counteract in the middle of the ground. And then, again, it's just those 1v1s that are costing Adelaide Crows and Fremantle forwards making them pay.
This was always the worry dominating clearance and contested possession, getting it in quick to their big forwards. Amos has got 3. So he finishes it off beautifully. And they go to 7-5-47. Adelaide 3-3-21. 13 minutes gone in this second term.
Just having a look at once again at the clearance work here. McAndrew's getting the hit outs. But Shea Bolton, Johnson, Jackson continue to win the clearance work and then the first possessions. Adelaide really struggling in that area.
And Bolton again having a say, Joss. His first month of footy has been super impressive to watch. Just absolutely playing to his strengths. Just shrugging his shoulders through 2 Adelaide midfielders there.
Sarong 13, Reid 11, Aramis 11, Johnston 10. Racking up disposals.
They're running away with it now, the Dockers. Up by 26 out of the middle. Head over the footy. Berry had Reid breathing down his neck, couldn't control it. Hard tackle laid and a dumping one. No, free kick going Adelaide's way as Riley Thilthorpe brought Jager O'Meara to ground.
That's 2 holding the balls from Riley now that he's playing in the midfield while Dawson's forward.
Thilthorpe into the 50, 2-on-2. The fist comes late from Chapman. Knocked it out towards the defensive 50 edge, but Cook was waiting. Centering kick, Neil Bullen. Soaring back with the flight, just had enough of it in his mitts. Bobbled out as he hit the deck. Umpire's going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Straight in front, 15 from home.
Great Cook. Love his composure too. Good kick.
Certainly come on this year. He had a great summer. Nixie's backed him in, and he's had consistently at AFL standard, and he's impressing and showing what they was drafted for.
Neil Bullen comes in and slots it. Adelaide pip one back. They move to 4-3-27. The Dockers 7-5-47. 15 played second term on ABC Sport. Ebony Marinoff.
Just watching Riley Thilthorpe's probably spent about 3 minutes in the midfield. An interesting move by Matty Nix. We saw it in the early rounds of the season. Dawson, he can go forward. He's going to come for his rotation now, but it's an interesting one to have up the sleeve. Where can you get him injected? He came into this game a little bit sore, but a couple of holding the ball there, that's good for the big man. Neil Bullen, an excellent finish as well, because he probably owed one a little bit with that fumble earlier on this start of this quarter.
So they're winning clearances this quarter. They've got that back on their terms, but it's only their first goal there, Adelaide. 3-1 in favour of the Dockers, and the Dockers lead by 20 points. Peatling in there, doing the hard work. Short kick forward. Coming hard was Taylor. He fisted that backwards a bit too hard, I think. It's landed in the lap of Reid. He's silky, isn't he? Handballs to McVie. Wants to get back on his right boot. Instead goes to Reid. Goes out wide to Wagner at centre wing. Looking for a short one to Darcy.
It's trying to get the actual matchups right, isn't it? They had probably their lesser of their potent midfield in the middle there. Fremantle, Adelaide. That's when you want to put, I guess, their number one ruckman and bring Riley Thilthorpe into the middle as well.
A helicopter punt inside the forward 50, and Borlase grabbed it and copped a high one from Reid. The umpires didn't see it. There's only 7 of them or 8 of them out there, but couldn't spot it. So we'll have a ball up left half forward for the Dockers.
They're up 20 at the moment. Darcy taps it over his head looking for Bolton, just a little wide. Berry can't gather. Picked up by Sarong, dropped it in the tackle holding the ball. Pedler gets him just behind right half back. Luke Pedner, who had negative 0.2 ratings points against Geelong last week, but I thought he had a terrific game. It was one of those weird ones where the stats didn't add up. Pinpoint pass. O'Brien takes it in front of the benches. Leans back off his kick. This is where O'Brien can fall short. He just kicks a hit and hope. Down the line, Pearce will track it well and intercept. It was a mongrel of a kick.
Thilthorpe caught behind. Taylor Walker didn't go for the mark.
Now the Dockers skipper back up towards the attacking edge. Looking for a 2-on-2. Amos in front, knocked down. Straight onto the footy was Berry, but a hard tackle laid at the attacking edge. Switkowski bobbles up. We'll get a ball up close to Fremantle's 50. Currently up by 20. O'Brien wins it down. Wagner bursting through. Looping handball to Switkowski. Blazes away from Neil Bullen. Snaps from 45. It was too low. And Worrell's waiting at the top of the defensive goal square for the Crows.
Short to Cook. Oh, to Berry. Oh, and he's dropped the mark under pressure from Amos. won the hard ball, handball backward to a dangerous situation. Murray embraced it to Berry. His quick kick out of defence is just going to go to Darcy. Just some basic skill errors here from Adelaide. So Darcy, 70 from goal, hits that one a bit better. Kicks it to a dangerous spot. Flying was Voss. Flying higher, Worrell. Good intercept mark, an important one. Crows trailing by 20 points.
That's a solid hanger. Josh Worrell is fresh off 30 touches last week, has 11 already tonight. Back to the broadcast wing for the Crows, down 20. O'Brien is target. This came in. Wagner can't get the ball. Phil Thorpe can. Hands it to Rankin, who sold the dummy, and they weren't buying it. Luke Ryan gets him too high.
I thought they were going to play holding the ball there. The umpire looked to... Wow.
Rankin pops up, blazed away and kicked errantly up forward, nowhere near Taylor Walker. Turnover, Jordan Clark, Fremantle now. Switch through the half-back line and Erasmus has it. What was Isaac Rankin thinking there? Rush of blood. Weren't really set up ahead of the ball. Erasmus now heads the other side. Will draw Jake Saligo and dink it over the top. Warner has it in front of the Williams stand for Fremantle. Down the line he goes laconically. Caleb Sarong takes it. Disposal 14 for him incoming. A three-time Doig medalist. Reigning as well. Up towards the 50. It's direction of Tracy, knocked away. Murphy Reid with a nice spin through traffic. Gets it to Switkowski. Drilling kick into the 50. Excellent target from Erasmus. Hits up Voss. Takes the mark. 40 from home, slightly to the right. That was slick ball movement in what was a really congested area.
He actually danced through nothing in a little bit. He had 10 centimetres of space, and you see Josh Worrell really frustrated there on the Voss mark because there's just no pressure on the ball. Fremantle's midfielder able to just hit up these Fremantle targets. It'd be so frustrating as a defender, but super impressive from the Fremantle brigade. And they've had 90 uncontested possessions to Adelaide's 47.
Patrick Voss comes in, hard striker, the footy, and he doubles up for the night. Fremantle's back up by 26 points. Time on in the second term. 8-5-53 plays 4-3-27. And the Dockers on track to reach another century the way they're scoring.
What I liked about Patrick Voss then too, again, I think Josh Worrell did the best he could, Eb, as you sort of highlighted with the lack of the pressure coming from the midfield. But Patrick Voss's ability to be able to use his body in that moment too, just to press him to the other side and be able to get down and get in front and take the mark.
We just owned all the space. He had, his right and left shoulder. He had 10 metres and just, that's a very vacant forward line Fremantle kicking into because Adelaide's defenders are under pressure. They're under siege. They're right on their man, and that creates and opens up space for Fremantle to just work into all the space they want.
Great hands too, Murphy, Switkowski.
Back in the middle of the ground. O'Brien with the hit out. Gathered by Johnson. Back to Jackson. I think he thought he was going the wrong way then. Had time to turn around and he missed his kick to Miller at centre half back. Handballs it straight to Michaelani. They're trying to play quickly, Adelaide. They're trying to change the game. Miller kicks up towards Maley, who flies. Dawson went in front ways into the contest. Well gathered there by Michaelani. He's worked his way up the ground. He's kicked out just too much on it for Taylor Walker. And Luke Ryan will take that out over the boundary line. Right forward pocket, boundary thrown. A key inside 50, Josh Money on the boundary.
Yeah, Nick Murray once again getting that cut above his eye. It's come open again, so he spent a lot of time on the bench in this first half dealing with that.
No Keane, no Butts, and Nick Murray's missing a fair bit of this game. Makes it hard for the Crows' defence. Tapped down by Darcy. Jackson head over the football. Dawson wanted to tackle him. Jackson didn't pick it up, so he had to let go. Frees up Wagner to get the exit, but ball ace gets in front of the logo broadcast side to cut it off. Intercept mark, and then releases the running Worrell. Gee, that's a driving kick. Good 60 metres, top of the goal square. Off hands, front square. Rankin pounces, snaps, and misses. 15 out, minus score to the right. Fremantle's lead is 25 points late in the second term.
So that kick inside 50 is absolutely crucifying Adelaide. And even if Worrell had have gone lower, he had Rochelle on a 30-metre kick.
He was free, Jamo, from the kick in. Adelaide are able to turn it over. Goes to Saligo at right half forward. He lowers the eyes and finds Rankin. He did create something from nothing with that shot on goal. Probably normally hits it that behind. Bit of time for redemption, 45 metres out and a tough angle at right half forward.
I mean, what you saw when that last contest boundary, or when that last kick came in and Rankin just came straight through the contest, heavy traffic, and had the ability to have a shot on goal.
That's what you want. Like, why are you having him be stagnant in the forward line, not touching the ball or touching it once? Like, I just don't understand. You're seeing Bolton, Brayshaw, Sarong dazzle through Freo's stoppages.
Isaac Rankin lines it up. He hit it well just away to the left, couldn't bring it back. Back-to-back behinds for the Crows superstar. They're 4-5-29. Fremantle 8-5-53. 23 and a half minutes gone in the second term.
And we keep talking about Isaac Rankin, but Ben Keys, you would say that, you know, his last month of footy hasn't been nowhere near the level as well. So I'd be asking more from a senior player like Ben Keys.
Malcolm Blight medalist who's off a career best season in front of goal, but yeah, Ben Keys unsighted. Turnover out of defensive 50. Luke Pedler wants to send Adelaide back in. Flying, the mark unable to be taken. Finbar Maley hits the deck. Skyward ball by the Dockers. They fly as one. Ground level. Michael Lanny to Neil Pullen. Spun one way, handballed the other. Did very well to Rochelle, who threads the needle between two. Squaring, screw punt. Rising his Taylor, can't take it, but got a handball at ground level to Neil Pullen. Hit and hope. Will it carry? It's a line ball finish. Switkowski flying to try and get a hand to it.
Free.
I think the score's even going to count.
No, I think it was Pedler just interfered as the footy was going over, and it's a free to Switkowski right on the line.
So Dockers by 24. Champion Data's given them the behind, but the goal umpire didn't signal it rather, so we'll wait for that to be adjusted. But in the meantime, Fremantle's exiting kick-off hands and over the boundary line at left half back.
Warner begging for front-on contact. Umpire didn't see that one.
They miss another one, Tom.
It hasn't been a good night for both teams, that's for sure. Boundary throw in, knocked down towards Dawson. Reed's there for company, who gathers at first, goes to ground in the tackle. We'll have a ball up centre half forward for the Crows. So they trail by 24 points, Adelaide. 4-5-29, Fremantle 8-5-53. Another ball up. Jackson tries to take it out. Handballs towards Sarong, who's tackled by Peatling. Sarong in there again. Quick kick forward up towards Dudley. He's got Miller up for company. Bulldogs, lads. He's been ping-ponging the ball again. I'm not sure he had any prior opportunity at all.
Dudley's getting no reward for effort. Miller takes the free kick. Inside 50, Pedler in front. Couldn't take it. Both mitts on it. Falls into the footy. Plays the tackle and a ball up to come. He probably should have held on to that one, Luke Pedler.
Like he bounced the basketball football.
Great defensive work for Rio. They've been Adelaide 3 or 4 times. It just gets out of the 50 and then goes straight back in.
A few of the Crows have been hanging out with the 36ers, but they've got to get their mind on the football game at the moment. Out of the stoppage, Peatling a little short 2-metre screw kick. Keys was there. Again, couldn't trap it. Tackle laid. Ball up to come. We're about 35 out at the moment from the goal.
1:45 remaining in this second quarter.
Adelaide's attacking 50. McAndrew swats it down the throat, though, of McVee. Exiting kick for the Dockers. Hit and hope. Crashing into a couple of Crows is Voss, and Murphy Reid will keep it in, did he? Did his best to try and fool the boundary umpire, who wasn't really falling for that one. It'll be tossed in left half back for the Dockers. They're up by 24.
Cook just comes off the bench to join the contest. McAndrew v Jackson. Jackson knocks it down. Handball comes out the back. Rankin and Peatling couldn't decide who was going to go for it. Bit of a raffle. Dawson comes through. Peatling quick kick around the body, goes straight to McVee, who's got some time at left half back. Handballs it off to Johnson. Short ball looking for Jackson. Hits him on the logo. Handballs quickly to Wagner. Goes around in a circle all the way back to McVee. He's going to go back to Chapman at left half back.
Signs are up on the boundary. A minute remaining. Fremantle will be happy just to hold the football and maintain possession.
Chance to go 5 goals up, though, at the major break. It'd be a tough task for Adelaide to come back from down the line. Jackson the target. Fist came in from McAndrew. Switkowski tackled, dropped the footy. Peatling doesn't get the free kick. Thrown out there by Johnson. Brayshaw gets it to Jackson, then O'Meara, and now McVee can drive it hard. It's a bullet pass into the 50, bit too hot for Voss. Murray, though, fumbles out the back. He looks like a mummy right now. Maybe he couldn't see the footy. Sarong gathers, snaps from 35, open goal square, doesn't get the kind bounce. through on the right-hand side for a minor score. It is Fremantle by 25, closing in on half-time.
That's another poor decision there too. Amos has actually been tackled. He's gone to kick it, missed the football completely, and the umpire has said, play on, Tom.
Fell out on the tackle, Jamo. Miller kicks it out of defence. Dawson flying. Walker coming over the top. Dawson gets the handball away. It was Berry, in fact. And we're going to have a ball up on the corner of the centre square. Fremantle side. Do it again quickly. McAndrew up against Jackson. Just took him high there for a moment. So 13 seconds left in this first half. It's been dominated by the Dockers. McAndrew down to Sarong. Tackled by Berry and McAndrew again. I'm on repeat. Sorry about that. There's nothing wrong with your radio. Back up again. And Sarong tried to get through, but it landed in the lap of Berry. Handballs it back to Jones. Kicks to the wing. And it's half-time here at Adelaide Oval. It's been a tough night so far for the Crows. That's because the Dockers have come from the west. Kicked 4 goals at each quarter to go to 8-6-54. Adelaide 4-5-29.
Poor old Chase Jones. Game 100 tonight is the late in, and that was his first touch for the entire match. Dockers up by 25, as Tom said. The goal scorers, 3 to Amos, 2 to Voss, singles to Brayshaw, Tracy and Dudley. Meanwhile for the Crows, all individual, just the one in that term. Neil Bullen, Maley, Dawson and Berry. 8-6-54 plays 4-5-29 as Fremantle look to go 3-1 to start their season. Had Adelaide's number. They've won 5 of the last 6, trying to get the job done on the road under the Friday night lights. Big crowd attendance as well. Adelaide sitting at 1-2. Wouldn't want to drop this before gather round. But it's great to have you with us for Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport. On the text line 0437 774 774. Graham and Carnup says there's been a lot of discussion in WA about who is the best read. Popular opinion is it's Fremantle's. Harley obviously having a pretty tremendous season at the moment, Jamo and Noffy, but G. Murphy Reid as the rising star has taken it to another level again. It's amazing he was picked 17 in his draft as a first rounder. There were a flurry of bodies before him, and a lot of clubs will be ruining the chance they might have had to get him.
It's probably, I mean, they've only both been in the comp, 2 years now, and played probably similar games.
Harley's had an extra season.
Season. So, an extra season, an extra 4 games.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. How blessed is Perth to be able to have both of them?
Couple of superstars there. Clint as well is on your side in terms of the Jake Saligo minor heart surgery debate. Says the only heart surgery you can call minor would be of the chest hair wax, and all the rest.
40-year-old version style.
Yeah. Jake Saligo, for context here, played through the pre-season. He wasn't in all the contact drills, but he certainly was around in terms of running, and then missed a week for that minor heart surgery, which is what the Crows
you just got to stop
put in the
saying
press
minor
release.
Heart.
He would have not trained nearly up to 3 to 4 weeks throughout that period.
In terms of full contact?
When he was running, he was managed. So he's not doing your 11, 12, 13, 14K sessions. So, I mean, it's a difficult one because I remember, when Jake String at the GRS Giants, they said completely different situations, but he was unfit. He needed to get fit. It was in season. Adam Kingsley said, "No, stop. You're going to do a 4-week block because you can't play catch up." So Jake Stringer did not play. With Jake Saligo, he's a young kid. He's not had a pre-season. What do you do with him if he's going to keep playing games and not really have a massive impact? Because when he's at his absolute best, he's a clean, skillful, more or less that ground ball player. But right now, if you look at him, he's not physically fit because he just hasn't done the work. He hasn't been able to do the work. And when he's come back from, his minor heart surgery and things like that, it's not been easy. So I just think that there's different ways how teams manage their players when they have not have had the whole pre-season. And that may be the question in the next month, because let's see how Jake Saligo's kind of season presents. But I think it's unfair to say that he should be at his best, given the fact that his pre-season he had.
Heart, brain. Let's agree that that's serious.
Yeah.
Not minor heart surgery.
Yeah. Hey, you can tell the club that, because that's what they said. But I think Noffy's laid it out perfectly that 2 touches for the game. He's lacking conditioning.
You can see that, yeah. And I'm sure he he can see that himself. But at the end of the day, when the club is picking you and playing, you are not going to say, no, I'll play Rezzies or I'll just do a 4-week pre-season block. Like, you're committed to be playing out on, Friday night lights. It's just reality.
There's a few players now as the depth gets stretched with the injuries. Darcy Fogarty are laid out, Isaac Cumming as well. So Chase Jones 1 touch, Ben Keys the same, and then Saligo with the 2 and Pedler with the 3. So there's a few guys who usually rack up the footy who aren't making a dent. Fremantle's up by 25 at the major break as well. Earlier, North Melbourne winners by 10 over Carlton, who were up 22 points with 16 minutes to go. And the same old Blues. It just happened all over again. Corbin coined it very well, Deja Blue, where they again have choked a late lead rather, and North Melbourne go to 3-1 and are sitting in third on the live ladder as kind of we get through these bye periods and the ladder starts to take some shape. The Roos find themselves in a good spot. Walk us through the opening half, Jamo and Noffy. Why is it that Fremantle are ahead by 25 points?
Well, I think we're lucky enough to get all the stats from Champion Data, and everything that they've highlighted, what the Dockers have been like for the first 3 rounds, they are absolutely dominating and braining again tonight. When they go inside 50, 28 times to half-time. They're the number 1 scoring team in the competition, going at almost 60%. They're doing that again tonight. Their contested football, their clearance work, their dominance up forward. It's been an absolute display of solid football and consistent football. And across the first 3.5 rounds, you can see why they have been so dominant up to this particular point.
I think it's Fremantle's ability to win it in the contest and on the outside. Like, the stats are crazy. The fact that Fremantle have had 84 handballs to Adelaide's 55. Like, if you're sitting here in the stands tonight, you can see that. Every time Fremantle win a clearance, they have a backdoor option, or they're chaining it out of the front, and they're going to an uncontested Fremantle player. So, I just think they're getting absolutely killed in the contest, Adelaide Football Club. But Fremantle's ability to kind of give their forwards good looks and good contests has been the tale of the first half and why they're 4 goals in front.
Stars are standing up, so Caleb Sarong with the 17 touches. Murphy Reid, as we touched on, is just continuing to join that elite group with 14 to his name as well. And then the ruck battle as well. I've really liked Sean Darcy's game. I know there's been a lot of contentious debate over the last few years about how Jackson and Darcy were going to work together, and they've rarely actually played together in terms of their history at the football club, given that one's always injured or the other's not being picked. I think they've played 45 of their last 73 together. But, I mean, it looked great against Richmond last week, who were ruckless. But tonight, actually, against O'Brien and McAndrew, it seems to be clicking. And what it's doing, it's Adelaide Crows are on the back foot. They're playing back shoulder. They're not, you can see Bolton, Sarong, they're running through the contest, whereas Adelaide are flat-footed because they're so worried about whether that's the ruck hit out or just having the damaging plays that Fremantle had. But if you're watching stoppages, Adelaide Crows are flat-footed, Fremantle bursting through the stoppages, and that's how they're getting those handball chains, because they're actually on their feet, on their toes, whereas Adelaide are being reactive to what's happening. And if you're being reactive, you're 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds off the ball, and then you're just playing catch-up, and Hurts why they're leading tackles, because they haven't had the ball in hand. But yeah, it's been the one that I keep my eye on, because we knew coming into this game that the rucks were going to have a big say. How would it work? You've seen Jackson absolutely clean up, not only as a ruck, but his ground ball work is phenomenal for a big man. We saw Riley Thilthorpe go through for a couple of minutes inside, but also McAndrew, he's getting his hands on the footy. And if you're the Adelaide ruck and you're seeing your players flat-footed and Fremantle come shark your footy and kind of bulldogs through the contest, it's pretty flattening. So I'd like to see a little bit more movement around stoppage, and I'm calling it. Isaac Rankin needs to go and make that change in the second half if Adelaide have any chance of getting top of the midfield as well as catching this 4-goal lead.
Well, Sean Darcy's playing a secondary role tonight. He's had 6 disposals. So he's getting around the ground. You have a look at Luke Jackson, he's had 13. You go over to Lockie McAndrew, he's only had the 3. But then when you go and have a look at the stopping or the hit-outs, Lockie McAndrew's had 16, leading the way up against Luke Jackson, 11. Darcy with 8, but then it falls away for Adelaide. This is where Fremantle, Brayshaw 4 clearances, Jackson 4, Sarong 3, Bolton 2, Johnson 2, McVeigh 2, Wagner 2, and then there's an Adelaide player.
Yeah.
They were getting absolutely smashed.
And the
Adelaide.
First possessions as well, Jamo.
Totally.
Jenks. So, that's killing both. Like, there's 14 first possessions to 4 at just ball up. So that's where majority of the game in terms of the stoppage is played. But then you go to centre bounce, like first disposals, Fremantle 9, Adelaide 4. Like when you're getting first possession in the centre bounce and you're putting it down Fremantle forwards, like that's hard. And you can see up here the defenders are getting frustrated, but need more grunt from Adelaide in the mids.
Well, again, you have a look at the defence and the disposal winners. There's Josh Worrell in defence, 13. Wayne Miller with 13. Jordan Dawson mid at 12. And Sam Berry doing their best. Rochelle 11 and 10. And you've already highlighted where the Fremantle players are winning the football. And, again, just their use of their football and getting into their forward half. The pressure of Adelaide, it's telling in that first half.
It's a game that's played on the field, but if you played it on paper and our predictions before the game, worries for the Crows midfield getting smashed, worried about defensive stocks, and Freo's power forwards are on top. So it's played out how we all predicted. So Matthew Nixon and the Crows have to try and turn it around.
And the 15-year-old of me, when you listen to the 12th man, and I look here and it says, "Pierce off, Aaron."
Note to pause, I think, on ABC Sport. Fremantle by 25 points. Game's not totally over. We saw one big comeback earlier today. The Roos with a 32-point swing to win by 10 over Carlton. And now Adelaide will look to do the same to avoid going 1-3. It's Fremantle 8-6-54 to the Crows 4-5-29. And you can get in touch on the text line 0437 774 774. Shout out to Dan, Talia and Charlie who are enjoying the broadcast. And to Fran as well, who says, happy Easter, not happy with the Pies loss, but supporting the Crows tonight, 0437 774 774. All right, we'll take a break here at the Adelaide Oval, packed house, big game, Adelaide and Fremantle. It's the Dockers by 25. Time to get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. More than 100 international law experts in the United States say the conduct of U.S. forces against Iran and statements by the Trump administration raise serious concerns about violations of international human rights law and international humanitarian law, including potential war crimes. Larry Buttrose reports.
A letter from the experts particularly notes a comment from President Donald Trump last month that the US may conduct some strikes on Iran just for fun. It also cites Defence Chief Pete Hegseth saying the US does not fight with what he termed stupid rules of engagement. Mr. Trump has again threatened to attack civilian infrastructure in Iran, including bridges and power plants, with a bridge strike already killing 8 people and injuring dozens. Meanwhile, Pentagon officials have given no reason for the dismissal of the US Army's top uniformed officer, General Randy George, after he was asked to step down by Mr. Hegseth.
The government of Pakistan has raised petrol prices by 40% and diesel by 50% as the effects of the US-Israeli war in Iran continue to reverberate across the world. More from the BBC's Caroline Davis in Islamabad.
The price hike was announced in a national address broadcast. Pakistan's petrol minister warned that the government had limited resources and there was currently no end in sight to the war. Pakistan is highly dependent on imported oil, mainly from Saudi Arabia and the UAE through the Strait of Hormuz. There will be some subsidies for certain users, including motorcyclists, small farmers and food transporters. But there are still concerns about the impact such a dramatic increase in prices will have on inflation.
The price of bottled water could be on the rise in India as a result of the war in Iran, with another very hot summer expected in India in the coming months and temperatures forecast above 45 degrees for some parts of the country. The blockade of oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz is lifting the price of plastic bottles as crude oil is required to produce them. According to a study by Data for India, about 15% of urban households and 6% of rural households depend on bottled water for their drinking needs, as access to clean water remains a challenge in many parts of India. Fears of a global economic downturn driven by the Middle East conflict are raising concerns Australia could be heading towards a recession. The Westpac Bank says rising fuel costs and geopolitical instability are rapidly shifting economic conditions as the Reserve Bank is facing a far more complex environment. Westpac says curbing inflation without tipping the economy into decline will be a challenge. Economists say ongoing energy shocks from the conflict could push prices higher and deepen recession risks in the months ahead. Ukraine's Air Force says Russia's conducting a major rolling aerial attack with a large number of drones currently in Ukrainian airspace. An Air Force official says Russia's launched over 400 long-range drones in the past 24 hours, as well as 10 ballistic missiles, primarily targeting areas near the front line. Multinational drug manufacturing company CSL has responded to US President Donald Trump's latest tariffs announcement. Business reporter Adelaide Miller has the latest.
Drug manufacturer CSL said it isn't concerned about President Trump's 100% tariff announcement on drug imports. The Melbourne-based company has been heavily investing in US manufacturing capabilities to avoid possible taxes. In a statement to the ABC, a spokesperson said, "The vast majority of our trade into the US are plasma therapies that are made entirely from US-sourced plasma. We're reviewing the materials released today and will continue working with the administration to ensure access to plasma therapies."
Australian families have been making the most of the long weekend, with many staying closer to home to avoid high petrol prices. Hannah Moon reports.
Many families have made their way to the showgrounds this Good Friday as they seek to occupy excited children patiently waiting for the Easter Bunny's visit. North of Brisbane, the Caboolture Good Friday Carnival has been a hit with the kids.
I get to have some family time and have fun with my family and have a family memory.
You don't have to go too far, it's all on the one thing.
Elsewhere, children have filled up their Easter baskets with chocolate after navigating their way through Easter hunts in Hobart. The fun and festivities a sign of the joy to come this long weekend.
Happy Easter!
And in the NRL, the Rabbitohs have taken out the Bulldogs 32 points to 24 in front of a bumper Good Friday crowd in Sydney. The Bulldog Stephen Crichton was forced out of the match in the 44th minute with a shoulder injury. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
Look at me.
Anne Edmonds, Kitty Flanagan, Magda Zabansky, and so many more.
Good morning, everyone.
No one cares. In comedy gems like Fisk, Kath and Kim, and Bad Company.
This fun. No, thank you.
Comedy that leaves an impression. ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Shelley missed his exiting kick, looking for McAndrew. It was cut off by Jackson, back inside 50, and Amos takes the mark. 25 out, tight to the right. Could it be a costly turnover? Amos around the body, couple of steps, screws it through. And the Dockers up by 14. Amos has 2. Out of the stoppage, Fremantle again surge towards the 50. Handball Shane to Brayshaw, who pulls the trigger from 55. Spotted the unguarded goal square, and Andrew Brayshaw understood the assignment. Fremantle with back-to-back goals.
Bolton handballs to Dudley again, kicks up towards the forward line. In front is Amos. Just dealt with his opponent at the top of the goal square, Michaelani, and then took the mark on his chest. This was always the worry. Dominating clearance and contested possession, getting it in quick to their big forwards. Amos has got 3.
Knocked it out towards the defensive 50 edge, but Cook was waiting. Centering kick, Neil Bullen soaring back with the flight, just had enough of it in his mitts. Bobbled out as he hit the deck. Umpire's going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Straight in front, 15 from home. Neil Bullen comes in and slots it. Adelaide pipped one back. Up towards the 50, it's direction of Tracy, knocked away. Murphy Reid with a nice spin through traffic, gets it to Switkowski, drilling kick into the 50. Excellent target from Erasmus, hits up Foss.
There's just no pressure on the ball. Fremantle's midfielder able to just hit up these Fremantle targets.
Patrick Voss comes in, hard strike of the footy, and he doubles up for the night. Fremantle's back up by 26 points. Time on in the second term.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Fremantle well and truly on top for Friday night football on ABC Sport. A 25-point lead as part of this Good Friday doubleheader against the Adelaide Crows, who look a little bit lifeless, their depth being tested and a lot of their stars underdone. They were smashed by injuries in the pre-season. The messaging from the club was we went hard at training because we wanted them September ready. They didn't feel like that they'd trained to the level to get them to finals, and that's why they fell short in straight sets. Or maybe they went a little bit too hard, and as a result, we're seeing the fallout right now. Laid out Darcy Fogarty with a back injury. Chase Jones, Ben Keys with a touch each. Jake Saligo with 2 as well. Luke Pedler with 3. And the Dockers stars are all firing. Sarong with 17. Reid with 14. Luke Jackson with 13. and Brayshaw with 10. Aaron Bryans and Tom Wilson with you for the call on ABC Sport, alongside Premiership players Rod Jamieson and Ebony Marinoff. The Dockers 8-6-54 to the Crows 4-5-29. Earlier today, North Melbourne winners over Carlton by 10 points. It was more about the manner of how it happened, which will be the talking point tomorrow. The Blues up by 22 with 16 minutes to go and choked again. We've got a 2-hour AFL Saturday tomorrow from 12 Eastern Daylight Time, so you can call Corbin Middlemass, Mick Malthouse and Luke Ball and let us know how you're feeling and what is going on with the Blues. We'll have the fallout from this game in WA and SA as well, so SA Grandstand from 10:30 in South Australia. Sports Talk from 10 a.m. as well out west, as Fremantle look to go 3-1 to start their season, and maybe it is finally their time after teasing us for so many years. And in the NRL as well, doubleheader today, Rabbitohs defeating the Bulldogs 32-24, and currently the Panthers leading the Storm 20-6. On the text line, Simon in the York Peninsula enjoying the call. Not much credit being given to the Kangaroos' form this season. The Blues are a team without confidence, and most good teams just sit back and come home without much resistance. The Roos have looked great. Just the quality of the opponent is the preface there, Simon. So we'll see how they go in the next few weeks, but have certainly improved. Richard from Geelong, now that Camden McIntosh no longer plays for Richmond, is Caleb Sarong the finest player in the AFL who shares his name with an item of clothing? I reckon so. That's a good shout, Richard. Second half underway. It is the Dockers by 25. Here's Tom Wilson.
McAndrew knocks it down. That man Sarong, he's wearing the footy with the way that he's going, but that kick's not great. Ends up in the hands of Cook. Centre wing, looking for Thilthorpe, misses the target. Coming across the front was Clark for the Dockers. Handballs to Dudley at centre wing. Finds Bolton. He's had a bit of a quiet night, especially after last week, but that's a silky kick. Finds Tracy on the lead, centre wing. Question marks for the Crows here in this second half. What changes can Matthew Nicks make? What changes can the players make? Trailing down, or down by 25 points. A long kick from Tracy, up towards left half forward. Grabbed by Michaelani, but his handball was blocked by Switkowski and ends up over the boundary line in the hands of Bolton. We'll have a ball up left half forward for the Dockers. They lead by 25 points, a minute gone in this third term.
Decent crowd for this Easter weekend. A lot of South Australians love to travel, but over 40,000 in the house tonight. McAndrew taps it down. Bolton was there, couldn't control it. Berry gets the turnover, handed it to Keys. It was a hospital one. Jackson wraps him up, holding the ball. Couple of contentious decisions both ways tonight in terms of prior opportunity. Jackson wants to play on. He handballs it off the deck towards Brayshaw, who spears it into the 50 to Tracy. Just plucked it with one hand. He's almost got the basketball-esque hand where he could just engulf the ball. Reels it in, 35 out slightly to the left.
I think at worst, the simplest thing Adelaide could do was just put someone in front of him. Like, you're going to get jumped all over, but at least you're going to create something. A Fremantle player, in this case Brayshaw, lowers his eyes and sees Tracy coming straight at him. An Adelaide defence, a midfielder or another defender needs to stand in that hole.
Josh Tracy, the stutter step, then gets into his rhythm, leans back and misses to the left.
And
Fremantle by 26 on ABC Sport.
On that contest, you've seen Jordan Dawson flood back inside, and Fremantle still have numbers at the contest. So it's an interesting one where you decide to go.
Miller out of defence. Walker dropped the mark but brought it to the front for Berry, who handballs to Taylor. Looking for a target in Keys over his head. Can he run onto it? He does, but is tackled immediately. Got a handball away. He does have some support. Handballed over the top, misses Rankin, who lays a tackle. The Dockers' defence under pressure. Dudley shirked the tackle, did well. Handballs it off to Wagner. Now they've got some run. A one-on-one contest, centre wing. Tracy brings the ball to ground, runs over the top of the footy, gets it on the second attempt. Goes back to Bolton in the bright pink boots, and he hits up Switkowski. Ignores the first handball, but looks for Amos, who sticks up the mitts, and it sticks. Marks 45 out, directly in front.
Well, they did it so well then, Fremantle. Just the pressure once again that they applied in Adelaide's forward line. They get it out the other side. Tracy's up on a wing, so which then just leaves the space up forward. Jai Amos. Miller was all over him then. He couldn't do anything more about than what he was. It was a tremendous mark.
It's on fire tonight, Jai Amos.
What about the disposal, though, inside, hitting those lead-up forwards?
Jai kicks from 50, and you can hear the cheers. Just sneaks in for a minor score by the left behind post. So 8-8 Fremantle, 56 Adelaide, 4-5 29. Crows right under pressure here to start the third term.
Nick Murray plays on, drives it hard to the eastern wing. Plenty of carry as it heads towards the logo, and Pearce edges out. Phil Thorpe, no easy task to take the intercept mark. Feeling a bit pedantic at the moment, but a couple of the Dockers players on set shots have been getting close to the man on the mark, and it's hurting them. Pearce into the 50. Tracy caught behind. Adelaide had a number of bodies at the front. Knocked out, though, to Dudley. He quickly centres his kick. Top of the goal square. Voss had eyes for the footy and takes it. Neil Bullen did his best to backtrack and get there, but had no idea where it was landing. Patrick Voss, eyes lit up, and he marched out to the drop.
I think that's maybe 2 or 3 marks inside their forward 50 in this quarter alone.
It's old school footy again. The 3 key forwards are shining this season. They lead with pace, they attack the ball hard, and they stick the marks. Patrick Voss starts 25 out, 45 to the right, ugly drop, and it misses. Another minor score, 3 behinds for Fremantle to start the third. They should have put this game to bed. They're up by 28 points.
3 simple misses.
From their key forwards, Worrell goes long down the middle. They're trying to sort out something here, but Cox too strong for Maley.
I don't know what it is, Tom, because they just keep doing the same thing and the same result is happening.
Clark goes inside the forward 50, fisted down to Millero, who stepped into traffic, got the handball away in time to Worrell, who feeds it to Peatling, kicks it out towards the boundary, and McAndrew, that was elite. Under pressure, takes the mark, goes short to Rochelle, not the required 15, back to the big ruckman, who has to just throw it on his boot. Dawson's there on Brayshaw. Brayshaw grabbed a hold of him, umpire saw that one, wins the free kick at centre wing, members' side of the ground.
It's a better kick though, just small, like, you know, a 15-metre kick rather than Adelaide Crows just continuing to belt it down with no real option.
Who would have thought the ruckman is the better kick on the ground?
Dawson plays on, heads in the Walker direction. Pat converges straight up and down off the touch, and Jager Amira just felt like he was in a bad spot as he waited for the footy to come and is wrapped up.
Well, you cop your lot, he stood under it, and did what he had to do.
Ball up, attacking 50 right now for the Crows. Right on the paint of it, McAndrew down. Tracking the footy as Berry left it behind. Saligo gets in and under. Strikes the footy back to Berry, and now Peatling just blazes away. Quick kick on the boot.
I don't know why the snap there, just like drop punt. He does that a couple of times, Peatling. He goes for the snap. Just, I guess, Fremantle's pressure around the contest is enormous, but the tail of when Adelaide Crows go inside their 50, it's congested, and then Fremantle 1v1s.
Blasted out on the full. Free kick, Fremantle right back pocket.
Cox brings it in. Tracy gets hands to it. Spills to Dawson. He goes inside the forward 50. Taylor Walker's running back with the flight. And wow, Luke Ryan just stood up in that contest and took the mark.
Just in doing so too, I think Taylor Walker's copped a knee into the chest.
Goes across to Chapman, all the way across to Warner at right half back. Kicks up towards Switkowski and Borlace. Borlace went underneath that one. He had the height advantage. Switkowski beats him with his feet. Off to Bolton now. Lowers the eyes up towards Amos. Good fist away there by Nick Murray. Gets it out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in 70 metres around from the Dockers' goal. Not loving that kick inside 50, were you there, Noffy?
It's one of the better wins from Adelaide in their defensive part tonight. They've been able to defend and restrict the key forwards.
Even Walker then though, do you put a fist in and actually create a contest rather than stopping and standing?
Dockers by 28. Jackson wins it down straight to Peatling, then becomes the tackler, and it's too high.
Murray looks like a bobblehead with all that tape around his head, isn't he?
Peatling jumps up, kicks down the line. Walker tangled with Ryan, and coming across is Brennan Cox with the big fist into the front row. Ball, boundary throw-in rather, left half forward coming for the Crows. Haven't scored in this third quarter. Fremantle with 3 behinds. Extended their 25-point lead to 28. It's Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Toss back into play. McAndrew edged forward by Jackson, got the double tap down, but Murphy was waiting. uses Jackson. Sarong left it behind, becomes the tackler. Turnover though. Adelaide through Neil Bullen to Keys. Backtracks a little to Rankin. Had some time to think about his entry. Sends it to centre half forward. Rochelle one way, McVie the other. Ball shoots out. Neil Bullen tried an underground handball. It hit a few shins. Walker's now heading back to go and gather the footy. His true centre half forward becomes the tackler. Holds things up near the centre square. And we'll get a ball up.
So the Dockers dominating this quarter, but they've only got 3 behinds to show for it. So the Crows trailing by 28 points. McAndrew knocks it down. Peatling just throws that one on the boot. A high ball. Rochelle and Finbar Maley get a run at it. Maley had 2 hands on it but dropped the mark. Quick kick out of defence. Lands at centre half back for the Dockers in dispute, and Bolton runs onto it. A foot race on now. Takes one bounce. Kicks it over the top of Murray towards Amos, who's having a night out. What a grab, running back with the flight of the footy. 15 metres out directly in front.
Started across the half back. There's a lot of congestion and a lot of fumbling. I think Adelaide got their hands on it. Shea Bolton fumbled. Adelaide fumbled again, and then Shea Bolton's just come in and swooped, and with his pace seriously opened it up.
Can the Dockers finally get a goal for all their hard work in this dominant third term? 20 metres out, Amos slots it, and it's his 4th, ties his career best effort. And the Dockers are having a day here on Good Friday. They're 9-9-63. Adelaide 4-5-29, 10 minutes gone third term.
We spoke about it in the pre-match, what the Fremantle Dockers forward line was going to do. Just a little bit of miscommunication, I reckon, from the Adelaide midfield, and that's the difference. Bolton just running into space. Tonight, have we seen any Adelaide Crow rule get any space? Not at all. That's a really, really tough ask for Adelaide. They just can't even keep going with Bolton. And Amos, just his ability to keep his eyes on the footy and clunk that. We spoke about it at the start of the night, and it just seems like these tall forwards are on show for us.
The number 1 player, Fremantle, Shea Bolton, metres gained, 353. Number 1 for Adelaide is one of their defenders, Josh Worrell, with 411.
He looks like a new man at the moment, Shea Bolton. Darcy wins it down. Head over the footy, Erasmus. Ball went through his legs. Keys gathers, gives it to Rankin in response. Adelaide inside 50. Courageous from Cox. Backed into the run of Thilthorpe. Heavy collision. Ball bobbles out 25. Walker becomes the tackler. Brendan Cox will be very winded from that. Put his body on the line.
Isaac Rankin then involved in the centre bounce and a touch, so...
Darcy down straight to Chapman. Bounced off his shins though. Picks it up and is tackled for his trouble. Spun around. And another ball up to come as Fremantle gain a little bit of territory in their defensive 50. We're now about 35 out. McAndrew dispatches Darcy, slaps it forward. No one's waiting though. Keys tries to get there on the bounce. Cox was waiting with a hard tackle. And now we're at the attacking goal square for the Crows at the northern end. The left-hand side of your radio dial. It's Freo by 34.
I love what Lockie McAndrew brings to this team. It's something a bit different, unique, getting his hand on the footy, making it dangerous.
Knocked down there by Darcy. Straight to Rochelle.
But Fremantle are cleaning up.
And the Crows conjure something from this contest. So many players around this footy. Making it very hard. It's come back from the top of the goal square to about 20 metres out now. Darcy down to Thilthorpe. Handball to space. Taylor shrugs the tackle. Taylor snaps a goal. It's good last week. Zach Taylor coming into the team. Bobs up again. Adelaide get there first for quite some time since the 15-minute mark of that second term. 5-5-35. Fremantle 9-9-63. 12 minutes gone in this third quarter.
We just needed some space, wasn't it, too? As Brennan Cox comes to the bench. Brayshaw goes back on. Lockie McAndrew's also done the job, and Riley O'Brien coming back on. But up forward, you spoke of the congestion. There was only 5 players pretty much outside Adelaide's forward 50. Well done, Zach Taylor.
Starting to really build into his game, Zach Taylor. As Tom mentioned, cracking game at Kardinia Park with a career-high 3 goals. And it's been a few years before he's had a chance to shine. Starting to feel entrenched in this 23 with what he can provide in the front half. Margins down to 28. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Tossed into the air. O'Brien does his best to launch to showcase his athleticism. Got above Darcy, but they both fell on top of each other. There's an awkward meat sandwich on the deck. They go again. Darcy down to O'Meara. And now Brayshaw gets the clearance towards the 50. Big fist comes from Murray on Vost. Thumps it back out towards right half back. Johnson's tracking. Rankin's right with him. Wraps him up with a tackle. Johnson tried to walk it over. Rankin keeps him in the field of play. And a ball up to come right in front of the Williams stand.
The luxury that Fremantle have is Shea Bolton is now deep forward.
Darcy down, but Keys will get it out of there. Quickly on the boot, just the required 15 to Pedler. He's behind the logo, centre wing, eastern side. Pedler towards the 50. Dawson was playing full forward and the kick never got near him. Shallow drop. Alex Pearce gets in front, takes the intercept mark.
Luke Jackson on the bench, coming a rest. So, Jai Amos.
Your man Pearce kicks down the line. Jamo, gathered by Dudley. Handball to Tracy, who took on the tackle. Holding the ball, Chase Jones. Trying to make an impact in this third quarter. Let him loose.
Great tackle. Where's this going?
He's going to handball it off to Worrell, who kicks a floater inside the forward 50. Mark that, he says. Thilthorpe got the first hands on it, and then Walker takes Chapman to the deck, and we'll have a ball up 45 metres out directly in front of Adelaide's goal, who trail by 28 points.
Quickly tossed up. O'Brien down on the bounce. Rochelle trying to break through Amira, but gives it away. Chapman does the same. Caught in the tackle. Handed it back to Keys, and in turn, he turns it over. Messy footy right now, but Fremantle might win out. They've got the overlap here out of the half-back. Handball came hot and thick from Sherry. Missed its target to Brayshaw. Worrell the other way. Another turnover. The Crows now. Millerer and Bond has coughed it up. This is just volleyball footy right now. Through the broadcast wing. Can someone put an end to it? O'Meara to Brayshaw to Sarong inside 50. Tumbling its way towards Tracy, 35 out. Read the occasion well. Two opponents. So he slaps it to Johnson, who had free run and sprays it from 40. Out of the full. Adelaide free kick, but at least we're inside of 50 because, gee, that was ugly between the arcs.
Rankin brings it straight back in. Over to Jones, looking for Saligo. Can he get a touch on it? No. Gives it straight back to Freo.
Some silly skill errors from both teams here. Just a little bit of chaos footy for the third term.
So Johnson will get the opportunity to bring it back in. His boots match the advertising hoardings here at Adelaide Oval. Inside the forward 50. Into the left forward pocket, punched away. And we'll have a boundary throw in. So 16 minutes gone here in this third term. 1 goal apiece in this quarter. One to Amos, who kicked his fourth, and Taylor kicked his one for the Crows.
Tossed in. Darcy wrestling with O'Brien. It's old school ruck work. Darcy taps it straight towards Worrell, who handed it to Thilthorpe right under the belly of the ball. Touches the night sky and comes down into Taylor's arms. Could throw a blanket over them and it's just landed in his lap.
Well done. Just sat under the football. The heat was coming.
A little unsure what to do now, though. Does a full 360 looking around and finally thumps it out to the eastern side. Chapman's waiting. Gobbles it up. Another turnover for Adelaide. Central kick, Chapman. Gets it to McVie. Now to half-back. Alex Pearce down the line. Casual. Dawson scouted it. Pocket picked. The skipper out wide. Too heavy for Walker, who now has to run onto it. Little slow to it. Trying to catch him is Ryan. The 2-13s. Walker will compose himself. Spin around. Centralise the kick. Saligo hands it to Dawson. 45 out. Heads for home. Neil Bullen was there. Coming the other way. Not really looking at the footy with the fist. Was Erasmus. And the umpire's happy to call it as a boundary throw-in off the fist.
Great defensive work. Not to impact the player. Took all of the footy. Just Adelaide, just lazy with that entry.
But just skill error over to Taylor Walker. Just hit that, then you can allow the forwards to reset.
Boundary throw-in, roved by Keys. Drop the footy, play on, says the umpire. Wagner with a high ball. Out of defence. Ball ace versus Tracy. Gets a fist to it. Roved by Reid. Tackled by Jones. Tracy takes on the tackler. Gets a kick away into a dangerous spot in the middle of the ground if they turn it over for both teams. Whoever's can win this can make them pay. Advantage paid. Inside the forward 50. Clever from Neil Bullen to get it to Rochelle, who marks 45 out on a 45-degree angle.
Right decision there for Neil Bullen to take that advantage. The slower you're just inviting that Fremantle defence to set up. Now Rochelle gets a shot on goal and in range as well.
Just looking at the monitor here, they've got a close-up of Josh Rochelle. He's got a seriously big black shiner. Was that last week's game?
That's still from last week, 8 days ago.
Oh.
Everlasting. Josh Rochelle just can keep the Crows within reach. Goes from 45 metres out, drop punt, starts at left, bends it back, and there's that celebration, Josh Rochelle. They've hardly been in this match, Adelaide, but they're only 22 points down after that. Fremantle 9-9-63, Adelaide 6-5-41.
That's an excellent finish. Rochelle, he had a really strong first quarter, a little bit quiet in the second, but this is what it's going to take. These Adelaide Crows star power, Isaac Rankin, get him around the footy. This has been the change in this third term. Isaac Rankin's been around the footy. Smarter decisions being made. A few skill errors on both ends, to be honest, though, but Adelaide finally get a goal on the board.
The Ildi's mask at home. Josh Rochelle is kind of adopting celebrations from around the sporting codes. Loves the round ball game, though. It's a pretty hard one to do. Got to Spider-Man your fingers, and he does it in a matter of seconds. Freo by 22. Darcy taps it down. Sarong wraps up O'Brien. Get another ball up just outside the centre circle.
There's way too much thought gone into that, isn't there?
Do you reckon he practices inside?
You have to.
Just at his sluggos in front of the mirror.
Out of the stoppage, Murphy Reid, plenty of pace as he hits it, drives it into the 50, but was a little bit of a hit and hope, too long for Tracy. Getting back, Borlays takes the intercept mark.
Do you have a goal celebration yet?
No, not like that. Don't kick enough goals, Jamo.
Borlays to Murray, then Cook. Out to the broadcast wing, flying in front. Finbar Maley knocked over the boundary line. It'll be tossed in right in front of the benches with the Dockers up by 22 points.
What would you roll with, Aaron?
Oh, jeez. I love a good double python. Got to get the guns out.
You in a tank top or a t-shirt?
Boundary throw in. Knocked down Darcy in front of O'Brien. Peatling on his hands and knees. Underground handball. Too hot for Rochelle. Ends up with Erasmus. And to Sarong for the Dockers. Picks up towards right half forward. Brave there was Bond. Tackled by Jackson. And we'll have a ball up at right half forward. Do you reckon Josh Rochelle has a mirror at his house to practice in?
A few. One in each room.
Yeah.
Maybe two.
No, 4 walls covered.
In from the ball up. Try to soccering that one off the ground was Sarong. And it's going to be a free kick against Darcy. Going the way of James Peatling.
It feels like a lot of free kicks.
Yes.
It's 18-12 in favour of Adelaide.
Peatling switches out to right half back. Bit of room to work with. Borlays hard down the line, and getting there in time is Amos. Chase Jones just waited for the ball. Fremantle now have it. Bit of a counter punch coming. Amos short to Voss, who's calling for a lead. How's the tall timber setting this up on wing? Voss drives it top of the goal square. Darcy's there with Tracy. Couple of hands in. Rolls towards Berry. Adelaide have some time to think their way out. Dawson to Peatling. Back to right half back. Phil Thorpe presenting. Cox with the fist. Boundary throw in to come near the Williams stand. It is Fremantle by 22. They're led by as much as 34 in this third term.
Hard to knock Caleb Sarong's game. He's had 21 disposals, but he's only going at 31%. Kicking efficiency too, but 7 tackles, 9 contested. 3 inside 50s, 4 clearances, and we've still got a quarter and a bit to go.
O'Brien down towards Dawson. Peatling grabbed it. Handball to Berry. High ball down the line. And Jordan Clark was able to take the mark, but it's a free kick against Warner, going the way of Ben Keys, defensive side of centre wing. Runs onto his left foot. Up towards Maley, who creates a contest. Cox dropped the mark, so he did enough. Rankin's there, trying to grab a hold of the footy. To keep it in for the moment does Johnson. Was it the right call? Because Thilthorpe ran onto it. Just kicked it over the head of Cook. Going back the other way is scary. Handballs it back to Warner. Can they get out safely? They can't. That was a poor option. Riley Thilthorpe just kicked it straight to him. Marks it 35 out, 45-degree angle, right-hand side.
I was just looking at the statistics, and Riley Thilthorpe yet to have a mark in the game. First mark of the night, so coming at right time. But just again, Adelaide's ability to create a little bit more pressure, put the Fremantle defence under pump, and then there's a dump kick. Adelaide able to, get another mark inside their forward 50.
Another huge moment for Adelaide, who were totally dominated in the first half of this quarter, lining up for their third goal. And there's the Aaron Bryan celebration to the Crows fans near the scoreboard. Getting the guns out, fire up, LFG Crows. 7-5-47, Fremantle 9-9-63. We're into time on 23 and a half minutes gone. They're lifting.
Well, Carl Warner's been very good in defence, and the pressure was there. Adelaide are wasteful inside 50s. They have got it in there in this quarter, Adelaide, on 10 occasions to Fremantle 12, but that was probably the only kick in their defensive area where they've absolutely blundered it and gone straight to Adelaide to give them a chance.
Amazing game by Philthorpe as well. He hasn't really looked hindered for a guy who could barely walk yesterday. He's done a pretty good job in the absence of Darcy Fogarty. Just like that, 3 straight goals, margins down to 16.
He's run under the football probably 3 or 4 times tonight, and again with his height and this size, he should be just clunking those.
Jackson taps it to himself, wrapped up, and we go again. He takes it out of the ruck this time and tries to break through. The Bulldozer wrapped up, turned it over. Rochelle to Millerer. Now the Crows to the eastern side. Peatling places it to Neil Bullen. Well weighted, just forward to the logo.
Peatling been busy this quarter, 9 disposals, so we asked the midfields to get busy, and he's certainly done that.
Adelaide on the roll. Neil Bullen arced in and then zagged the other way. Got through Johnson, kick inside 50. Knocked away from Dawson. Jordan Clark panics. Running out of room towards the light tower near the scoreboard. Bangs it into the second row.
3 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Fremantle by 16 points.
Right half forward, Chase Jones. Plays on. Sets it up 20 from home. Walker's running. At the back, big fly from Maley, tapped it straight towards Neil Bullen. No look, handball to Pedler, went the skidder and kicked it straight into the skins of Clark. Oh, geez, Brayshaw now tackled, tried to get it out of the defensive 50. Sarong overruns it. Chase Jones spun hard by Dudley, who dumps him over the boundary line. Little off balance. And it'll be tossed in right near the Wanganeen stand. Adelaide rolling at the moment.
McAndrew throw in, right half forward. McAndrew knocks it down. Brayshaw. It's a handball away for a moment, but it hits the deck. Dawson in there. Rochelle too, one of the goal kickers this quarter. Just cleaning up that celebration. It's Kenan Yildiz, who's a Juventus star. That's who he's mimicking. So
13 disposals tonight for Josh so far.
Nice connection to the former high performance boss Darren Burgess, who's there over in Italy. So repeat ball up again here. Jackson knocks it down. Gathered by Erasmus. Tackled by Taylor.
A lot of numbers at the stoppage here.
Neil Bullen drops the footy. Chase Jones comes through the contest, but he couldn't get a hand out to handball. He's tackled again. We'll have our 5th ball up in a row.
Hard to have a kick when you're on your knees.
Dockers by 16, and as Marcus sums it up on the text line, it's never easy for Fremantle members. They just make it hard for themselves. Out of the stoppage, Dawson spun around, handball turnover, but it's inside 50, and Pedler crunches into Clark, who waited for the contact. Umpire gave him an eternity as they fell forward. Could have made a call either way, and instead just wants to take the pill for himself. Tossed up, 40 from home, Jackson down. Gee, there are players everywhere. This is so congested. Quick tackle laid.
Adelaide lead on Lockie McAndrew, just a big punch to about 30 out, just clear the area.
Warner on Taylor. Now Jackson with the overhead handball to Bolton, turned into trouble and handballed into the chest of Rochelle. Shoots out to Taylor. Tight angle as he squeezes it across the goal face. Maley on the behind line, battling with Brendan Cox. Takes a great grab off balance. It's going to be a really tricky finish though. This is a straight line angle in the left forward pocket.
Brendan Cox's favourite ground too, Tom.
Finbar Maley looked all right at the cattery and then omitted. Decides to share it unselfishly. Angle was always going to be tricky. Fremantle caught napping. Cooks floated forward. Takes the uncontested mark. It's a 45-degree angle now to the left. And he's 25 from home.
That's a coach killer in a minute to go, and allow a wing just to come in and make that angle a lot easier.
Speaking of young Crows who are starting to soar, career-high 21 touches last week for Braden Cook in this new half-back role. He's floated forward now, and Cook serves up a winner. Adelaide have 4 in a row. They were down 34 points, and the margin is just 10. Fremantle 9-9-63, Adelaide 8-5-53. 28 played, third term on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Ebony Marinoff.
You just have to laugh because if you ever met Finn, he is the funniest bloke, and he's the cult hero. He's getting these boys up and about. That is an energy lifter, and this is probably the challenge to Adelaide Crows in terms of their inexperience. When the game is rolling and it's on their terms, their players are up and about, the Rochellis of the world, they're bouncing around. So if they're going to win this game, they need to create energy, and it seems like they've got that. But, Finn, he's certainly bringing energy to this Adelaide Football Club.
4 goals this quarter, Adelaide, to Fremantle's 1 goal 3, 13-12 inside 50s.
Still time for another one, Jamo. McAndrew gets the clearance up towards centre-half forward. Coming out was Maley. Saligo gathers, tries to go the shrug, gets the handball to Peatling, running into an open goal! The Crows have kicked 5 in a row! What a huge finish to this third term. They're within 4 points. They looked out of it at the start of the half. 9-5-59, Fremantle 9-9-63, almost 30 gone third term.
That's a centre-bounce clearance win by McAndrew. He's come up against some of the premium rucks in the competition. His ability to win that ball is so crucial, so crucial. Centre-bounce goals, we've seen Freo have a handful of them in the first half. That is awesome momentum for Adelaide Football Club. And Fremantle, well, they should have been 6, 7, 8 goals in front.
The hit-out, Aaron. Darcy and Jackson are leading the way in this quarter, but again, it's the clearance. Peatling stepped up. He's got 4. Keys has got 2. Rochelli's got 2. That's the difference for Adelaide here.
4-point game under the Friday night lights. Tapped down. McAndrew's there, and he's wrapped up. James Peatling copped a lot of criticism. Had to play in the midfield in the straight sets exit as a result of Rankin's suspension. And he's starting to lift tonight. Jackson takes it out of the stoppage. Quick kick forward. Chase Jones on the drop. Wrapped up. Gang tackled. Ball up. Centre half forward right now for Freo.
Well, Peatling's had the 10 disposals this quarter. Certainly lifted.
And that's why they got him from the Giants.
And 300 metres more gained Adelaide in this quarter.
Tossed up. McAndrew with the fist down towards Rochelli. Kick smothered. Trickles towards Chapman. Well scouted by a couple of Crows as well. Ball comes out towards Rochelli. High spiral down the line. Maley just had to make a contest of it, and he did, but the siren beats them. Walker spotted an open goal square and didn't pull the trigger.
What about the pickup from the old man?
Oh, it was good. He got low, but just thought about finding a teammate, and that split second might have cost them a potential score. Crows fans are still pretty happy. They were down 34 points, and Fremantle are making Carlton look good. Margin's just 4 right now, 9-9-63 to 9-5-59 at three-quarter time. Goal scorers for the Crows at the moment, all individual. So Maley, Neil Bullen, Peatling, Taylor, Cook, Dawson, Rochelli, Thilthorpe and Berry. Full-blown team effort. Meanwhile for the Dockers, 4 to Amos, 2 to Voss, singles to Brayshaw, Tracy and Dudley. What a turnaround it is from the Crows. And it's setting up a grandstand finish on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
Throws it, goals it.
Get your footy fix
Live and ad-free with ABC Listen.
AFL, NRL, men's and women's.
This season, don't let life get in the way of the footy. Hear it on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Lands at centre-half back for the Dockers in dispute, and Bolton runs onto it. A foot race on now, takes one bounce, kicks it over the top of Murray towards Amos, who's having a night out. What a grab, running back with the flight of the footy. 20 metres out, Amos slots it, and it's his 4th, ties his career best effort. And the Dockers are having a day here on Good Friday. Darcy down to Thilthorpe, handball to space. Taylor shrugs the tackle. Taylor snaps a goal. Good last week, Zach Taylor coming into the team, bobs up again. Adelaide get there first for quite some time since the 15-minute mark of that second term. can make them pay. Advantage paid. Inside the forward 50. Clever from Neil Bullen to get it to Rochelle, who marks 45 out. Goes from 45 metres out. Drop punt. Starts at left. Bends it back. And there's that celebration. Josh Rochelle. Handballs it back to Warner. Can they get out safely? They can't. That was a poor option. Riley Thilthorpe just kicked it straight to him. Marks it 35 out. 45-degree angle right-hand side. Lining up for their third goal. And there's the Aaron Bryan celebration to the Crows fans near the scoreboard. Getting the guns out. Fire up. LFG Crows.
Finbar Maley looked all right at the Cattery and then omitted. Decides to share it unselfishly. Angle was always going to be tricky. Fremantle caught napping. Cooks floated forward. Takes the uncontested mark. He's floated forward now. And Cook serves up a winner. Adelaide have 4 in a row.
Coming out was Maley. Saligo gathers, tries to go the shrug, gets the handball to Peatling, running into an open goal! The Crows have kicked 5 in a row!
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
We are going to the wire for Friday night football on ABC Sport. Fremantle were up by 34 points at the 9-minute mark of the third quarter, and it is down to just 4. 9-9-63 plays 9-5-59. The big question in the build-up was, is this finally Fremantle's time? They have been teasing us for years with their talent, and it felt like what we'd seen over the past fortnight, even the first 3 games, that maybe this was going to be their year. And what we saw against Geelong is happening again. They were up by 35 points against the Cats and lost by 10, and now up by 34 and currently leading by 4 points. Same story for the Crows as well. The last 2 weeks, they've had heavy margins to catch. So the Western Bulldogs were up by 25 and they managed to hit the lead late and lost that. And then also the Cats up by 20 points. They managed to catch them in the last quarter, but will go on to lose as well. So is history about to repeat? We're going to find out. Both these teams desperate for a win on the big stage. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson with you for the call alongside Rod Jamieson and Ebony Marinoff. What happened to the Dockers in that term?
Well, they got beat up. That's what happened. Adelaide really took it to them. And you have a look at Fremantle. Wagner had the 6 disposal. Shea Bolton was quiet. He spent time up forward. Andrew Brayshaw also with the 5. And Sarong only had the 4. Now, I think if it's not a problem because they're so potent, but they've only got 5 goal scorers, Fremantle. Amos has got 4 and Voss has got 2, but they didn't touch the footy in that third quarter, so they struggled at goal, and they only kicked the 1 in that third quarter, where Adelaide have had 9 individual goal scorers and kicked 5 goals straight. Peatling's had an outstanding quarter. He's had 11 in that quarter, 6 contested and 5 clearances, and that's been the significant lift. They won everything in that quarter. Inside 50s 14-12, clearances 14-8, contested 39-31, uncontested 46-43, disposals 89-73 and going at 70%. So that is why Adelaide were able to get themselves back into the game and find themselves at three-quarter time only 4 points behind.
And it was the challenge that was probably put on Adelaide at half-time. The midfield was absolutely getting smashed. The contested possessions, the clearances, the metres gained and the territory that were coming from the clearance. But the tail of that quarter was the contested possessions. Adelaide Crows had been minus 20, 30 odd in the first half, and they really evened that out. But in terms of what this game means for the Adelaide Crows compared to Fremantle, I mean, they've got the 2 wins. Heading into gather round with 1 win for the Adelaide Football Club, that is very worrying. So, and these boys know this, and Fremantle, I mean, they've had a couple of overwhelming performances, you say, but they're in and around the mark. If you go down their list, okay, you would be so disappointed with this game because they should have put this to bed at half-time. But Adelaide Crows, they know what this game means, and they need these 4 points.
We've already seen one big upset today, so the Blues 22 up, blew it, North winners by 10.
You think this might be a big upset?
Could Fremantle fall victim? Here we go, last quarter on ABC Sport. Both rucks rise and Jackson takes it out of the middle. Tackled by Berry, dropped it, regathered. The tackle kept going. Ball bobbles out. Fremantle keep pressing. Sarong inside 50 on the march is Voss. Slips through his mitts. Head over the footy. Handball from Worrell back to Millerer. Now Cook darting through the defensive goal square. Heads to right half back. Well-weighted kick to Rankin.
McAndrew, Dawson, Berry, Rankin in the middle up against Jackson, Sarong, Brayshaw and Bolton.
Has the run of Neil Bullen, but too much momentum. Kicked it straight to Alex Pearce. Turnover. Fremantle back inside 50. Brayshaw a wide kick. On the bounce for Tracy. Can't control it. Up against Ball Ace. And we'll get a boundary throw in. Left forward pocket, 10 out.
I think he's been pretty good tonight, James Ball Ace, in terms of the footy that's come in for Fremantle. He's been really sound. Jordan Butts missing.
He's done well. He's proved himself at Sandful level, Jamo.
His dad was a superstar player for Port Adelaide.
Boundary throw in. Jackson tried to take it out again, so dropped it and McAndrew grabbed it and Jackson tackled him.
Can't believe those two words came out of my mouth.
It's a huge concede. Fisted away by McAndrew. Nearly punched it out of bounds on the full. That would have been a free kick. Back to Sarong, though, at left half forward, over the top towards the top of the goal square. Neil Bullen's back there for the Crows, so too Murray. Cook took them all on. That was gutsy. Kicked it out of defence, up towards Thilthorpe. He brings it down to the front of the contest. Handball back towards Erasmus from Sarong. Inside the forward 50, flying is a big pack of players. Drops to the deck, and we'll have a ball up 30 metres out from Freo's goal.
They're up by just 4 points. Tossed into the air. McAndrew down to Dawson. Pushes off Brayshaw but loses the footy in the process. Brayshaw asks the question. Dawson keeps going after it. Got it to Neil Bullen out towards the broadcast wing. Fisk comes in. Chapman rides the contact and gets the ball away. Cox to Erasmus. Handball smothered by Bond. Ricocheted back towards Chapman. Little loose with his possession and he turns it over. Rankin puts on the Jets. No overlap in sight, so he has to go for a run and darts his way around Alex Pearce. 1, 2 bounces all the way to 50. Isaac Rankin misses to the left. What a build-up all the way from right half back into traffic, zigging and zagging. Just couldn't cap it off. And it's the Dockers by 3.
That would have brought the house down.
I think any supporter would have loved to see him kick that goal.
That would have been goal of the year.
It was outstanding.
Write it in the book. Maybe behind of the year.
Right decision though. He had all the grass and speed. Like, challenge your oppo to your strengths.
Left half back for Freo is Caleb Sarong. Goes down the line. Miller gets in front of the contest. Gathered by Switkowski. He was ducked into the ground by Dawson. Play on, says the umpire. Falls to Erasmus at centre wing. Back to Sarong again, left half back. Kicks it long. It's a 3-on-1 against Fremantle, and Dawson takes the intercept mark. Centre wing goes short to Rochelle.
Fremantle have really got the balance right around the contest. Adelaide have got too many players going in at it.
Rochelle arcs out. Sets it up into the 50, 20 from home. Cox crashes the pack. Isn't really looking for the footy. There's a blocking free kick going Fremantle's way, and it's to him. Must have caught a nudge as to why he kind of collapsed into the pack.
There's been a couple of those calls tonight, the blocking.
Finbar's got a ripping moustache. That's pretty big.
Full handlebars, isn't it? So Brennan Cox takes the free kick and heads to left half back rather. And Tracy, geez, strong in the air. Thick mitts, good handle. Outmarks Borlays and sends it down the line. Fisk comes in from Worrell on Voss. Bolton's there, trying to break free from Neil Bullen. Couldn't get boot to ball. Umpire looks lost. He's just bamboozled. Didn't know what to do. Whistle caught in his hand. Fremantle will take it. Murphy Reid heads towards the 50. Low kick. Amos tried to trap it. Knocked it to Bolton. Checks the kick well. And O'Meara takes the mark. Top of the goal square. That was an ugly moment. There was an official dead set in the middle of the centre square. And he just didn't know what to do.
This is the new interpretation, though. This is what was put out. If you attempt, it's an attempt. And this is this interpretation from umpires when he kicks the ball? That's an attempt because he attempted to kick the ball.
Was the veteran Simon Meredith, and Taylor Walker's giving him an earful in the back plate.
So even though he misses the football, it's still play on.
Jager O'Meara from 25 out, sprays it right.
Justice.
The footy gods are watching on Easter weekend. And Freo up by 4 points again, 5 minutes into the final term.
That's a big miss.
Brings it to Dawson, to Miller at right half back. Down the line looking for Thilthorpe, who flies. Neil Bullen at the front of the pack. His handball was blocked, though, by Erasmus. Pearce took him on to Jackson. Reed's got 3 Crows to beat, back to Bolton. Not sure what sort of handball that was either, Shay. Back in the middle of the ground, knocked on by Keys. He's tackled, missed the handball over the top of Michaelani. Switkowski now for the Dockers. Up towards Jago O'Meara at right half forward, who takes the mark. 65 from goal. Pumps it in long. Voss disposed of his opponent, Worrell, and McAndrew takes the defensive intercept mark.
Short kick to Millerer, who's calling for an option. There's not a lot ahead. He'll have to drive it long. Zach Taylor read it best.
Great kick.
Judd McVie just didn't have his kind of body towards the footy and didn't really know where to go.
Just what he was watching, Zach Taylor.
Central kick, Michaelani rewards the run of Millerer. Gee, he's got some pace. Links up with Neil Bullen. Millerer to Thilthorpe in a panic. Broke away from Pearce. He'll centre his kick, and Taylor Walker takes it 40 from home. Rochelle wanted it again. Actually has a bit of frustration boiling over as he doesn't get it from the veteran, but Taylor Walker knows how to kick these, and it is a big moment in this game for the lead. Taylor Walker has it 40 from home.
We're only 6.5 minutes into this last quarter, but it feels like the run and the legs are with Adelaide, and the defence of Fremantle are really struggling to even stay up.
You wouldn't want it in anybody else's hands. The Crows' all-time leading goal kicker, Taylor Walker, from 50, gives it everything! Huge roar at the Adelaide Oval, and Taylor Walker acknowledges them as well. They rise as one as Adelaide hits the front. It hasn't been the case since the 9-minute mark of the opening term, and Adelaide's now up by 2. 10-6-66 to 9-10-64. They wipe out that 34-point deficit with 14 minutes to go in the final quarter on ABC Sport.
Well, Wayne Miller, the way he is using the football, instrumental. 6 disposals at the moment, going at 100%. Alex Neil-Bullen with the 4. Defensive work outstanding. Worrell again, Rankin, Dawson, Cook. All good users of the football. Sarong's had 6. Reed once again. Chapman, Erasmus and Switkowski with the 2. But they just look a little bit out on their feet at the moment. Still probably 20 minutes remaining.
Remarkable that the Crows are in front. They get the clearance too. Peatling goes inside the forward 50. Bodies crushed to the ground. Pearce takes on the tackle. Got the handball away to Ryan. Looping ball to Warner. He takes on the tackle. Does well to shrug it off. It was Wagner to Warner. Clark coughed it up. Neil Bullen barricades his way through. Walker handballs to Pedler. Tackled by Ryan. And his handball away to Keys as Pearce dumps him on the ground. We'll have a ball up left forward pocket.
Wagner down in back play as well. Just a heavy collision with Neil Bullen. Inside the 50 at the moment for the Adelaide Crows, who are up by 2. Wagner still can't get to his feet.
He's actually, this is...
Looks like a right knee that he's rubbing. He tried to stand up and couldn't really put a lot of weight on it.
But it was more of a clash of legs, I think, wasn't it, too? Like,
could have been knee on knee.
Why can't what?
You can't hold the play up. Like,
Yeah.
like I get it. If he's heavily concussed, head knock, major heart concern, or a serious knee where you need the stretcher, stop it. He's on his feet.
Yeah. Even worse is he's going to stay out there.
Yeah.
Like, start the game, umpire.
He's on his feet and we're still delayed. 20 out from the Crows' goal. Finally, we call time on. Here we go. McAndrew matches up with Jackson, who wins it down to Sarong. Blasts it out of there. Hit and hope. Bang. Coming both directions. Borlase and Tracy comes down towards the defensive edge for the Dockers. Murray over the footy and Voss on top of him. We'll get a ball up eastern side.
Murray, well done. Just head on straight into that contest.
McAndrew knocks it down towards Peatling, and Bolton dived in his back, pushing the back. Plays on now, Peatling going long inside that forward 50 up towards Walker. Cox got a hand on it, knocked it out of bounds. So we'll have a throw in left forward pocket.
It looks like Jordan Dawson's deep in the forward line, right? Thilthorpe's playing as a midfielder. So that's a coach's shift there. Dawson's aerial ability. I feel like Riley Thilthorpe has been potentially a little bit hindered with his marking. He's run over a lot of footies. Get him around the ball where he can just play off one.
McAndrew tries to grab that out of the ruck. Coming through. In defence was Johnson. There was a kick smothered there. Fell in the lap of Keys. Handballs it to Thilthorpe. Throws it on the left boot. Flying. Oh, Maley. Would have been another Colt moment for the big man.
Had a few tonight.
His old man wasn't. He wasn't a big man, was he? Like Australian basketball?
He was an Australian, but not a monster.
Yeah.
Crows by 3, and the Dockers might be able to go end-to-end here. No, they won't. Johnson played on. They had the overlap, and Neil Bullen darted to his left to try and track him down and get the smother.
I loved it in Melbourne, but I really love him here, Eb.
He just does those acts, those selfless defensive acts, and he's certainly a spirit lifter for the boys as well.
Dockers were up by 34 in the third quarter. It's now Adelaide by 3. Carlton blew a 22-point lead earlier today. North winners by 10. Out of the boundary throw-in. Clark fumbles. Pedler does the same. Extracted by Erasmus. Low and hard. His kick a bullet towards Tracy. Too hot. Slips through. Miller at the back. Scrubber. Low and hard, and it works. Peatling has hung on to that exceptionally well.
He's at a half.
What a game he's playing. Peatling into the 50. Dawson 2-on-1 against him. Brings it to ground. Pearce wrapped up by Saligo. One at the boundary line and gets it. 20 out, left forward pocket. Riverbank stand end. Adelaide by 3, trying to make it a 2-kick game.
This is almost the blueprint that Adelaide want. We spoke pre-game about where they want to hold on to the football. Keep it in their forward half. Fremantle have really struggled to get it out past probably centre ground.
Knocking up the Dockers. McAndrew was pushed under that by Jackson, who then dropped the footy. Handball to Dawson. Throws it on that left boot. Goal! And he's got 2. And the Crows have kicked 7 in a row. This is remarkable stuff for Adelaide. They're 11-7-73, Fremantle 9-10-64.
It was just elite pressure that they're applying to Fremantle, and pretty much for 2.5 quarters, it was all Fremantle, but Adelaide have really flipped it. They've got their noses in front. You've called it. Tom, was 7 goals in a row now, and the pressure is there, and they're playing the footy in their forward half.
And even though Adelaide haven't had the looks at their leading forward targets, they're creating contests and they're getting repeat forward 50 stoppages. So it's putting Fremantle's defence under immense pressure. Just those consistent forward 50 stoppages in the fourth term.
Adelaide continuing 14 clearances to 8 in the third, and now in this last 6-3 their favour.
Crows by 9. Darcy wins it down to Bolton. Rolling kick up to half forward. McElhaney left it behind but had some teammates to assist him. Bond to Berry. Up to right half forward. Thilthorpe clunks it against Pearce. They are rolling at the moment. It is slick. He'll hand it to Rankin. Waits it so well to Saligo, who's cannoned into by Wagner. And he'll get the set shot 25 out tight angle. Fremantle look like witches' hats.
That is a premium kick from Isaac Rankin.
Isn't it just absolute star, just to hit the right weight, put it out in front of Saligo. Adelaide almost 300 metres gained further in this quarter alone with still half a quarter to play.
The start of the long weekend in South Australia.
It's the momentum. Once you get your tails up, regardless of most teams, it's just unstoppable.
They'll be partying for 3 days straight if they get this done. Saligo starts it right and misses from 30 out. It is Adelaide by 10. 14 minutes into the final term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Rod Jamieson and Ebony Marinoff bringing you home at the Adelaide Oval.
Big long ball from Luke Ryan up towards Darcy and O'Brien. Fisted down by Ball Ace. Quick hands inside. That was very good. Look at Johnson go. Handballs to Tracy. He's about 80 from goal. Flat ball looking for Amos. Punched away there by Murray. Dudley's roving. Gets the handball away to Bolton. Can they stop the rock? They can. Finally, Freo have an answer. Their last goal came at the 10-minute mark of the third term. Now at the 15-minute mark, Bolton gets it. They go to 10-10-70. Adelaide 11-8-74.
Who was that through the middle? Was that Wagner or was it Johnson? Just the way that they held onto the football, came inside, big handball forward. Josh Treacy as well. What about his kick? Just low, hard. Isaiah Dudley then puts the pressure on. And what about star class of Shea Bolt? Just to finish off like he did.
4-point game again. There's plenty of footy to go on ABC Sport. Do not go anywhere.
The young guns, Sherry Jamo, who was burst through the middle there.
Really calm, composed, smart.
O'Brien and Darcy resume their battle. Tapped down for the Dockers and half volleyed by Brayshaw to half forward. Bond couldn't trap it. Murphy Reid can. Hands it to Sarong. Around the body. Low screw kick. Voss left it for Tracy, who gathers, curls it from 30 and misses to the left. Minor score, Adelaide by 3 in the final term on ABC Sport.
Interesting one there. Adelaide allowed Fremantle have the front of the centre bounce open. Like they were playing semi-defensive triangle, but you can't give Fremantle all that space.
Max Michaelani plays on from the kick in. Up towards centre wing. Flying was Maley. Just push as he jumped. Play on, says the umpire. Murphy Reid was clean to Bolton. His kick was smothered, though, by Berry. Pedler takes on the tackles. Couldn't get it out of the back. Reid goes again. There's a player down in the middle of the ground, not moving. So in the contest, Michaelani on his hands and knees at right half back. Murray takes on the tackle. Dropped it. Holding the ball.
Is it Pedler?
It's Pedler, and he's full stiff as well. He cannot move.
So he took on the tacklers, and the umpire's not stopping the play like they did last time.
Like, seriously.
They've kicked it inside the forward 50. Dudley holds it in. They've had an absolute shocker tonight, the umpires, in so many ways. And when you've got a player potentially KO'd in the middle of the ground, they didn't stop the play.
Ooh, Brayshaw left his feet there. He could be in trouble. He completely ran into Luke Pedler in the middle of the ground. Brayshaw left and jumped into Luke Pedler, and he looks in a severely bad way.
Stretchers coming out as well, but Luke Pedler will be able to get to his feet.
He's not good.
His entire body stiffened, and he had that awkward look where his neck's kind of at the 45 and he just can't move his arms or his legs.
Dr. Mark Cesana out there, club doctor for quite some time. Pedler's on his feet, but Tim Cook, I think it is as well, past player of Adelaide.
And the fallout will be big. If Fremantle lose Andrew Brayshaw and cough up a big lead.
Did you see the jump? Like, I think
good
that's
to see
when
a replay. Yeah, again. Yep.
When you leave the ground, you have a duty of care. When you leave the ground, you have a duty of care for the player. And Andrew Brayshaw certainly left the ground.
The earlier incident, Corey Wagner, knee-on-knee contact with Neil Bullen, they stopped play. In this instance,
we've got the motor
players
car
down on the mat, and they did not. What will end up happening is a stoppage, 25 out inside Fremantle's 50 with a 3-point deficit in front of them, and they will actually, as Noffy said, bring out.
I've just got a text from my youngest daughter who's here at the football, and she says this Crows game will influence my mood for this weekend.
Oh, here we go.
I think the emotions of the state are in the balance right now.
And another 48,000 who are here.
Free kick down, is it ball up?
Yeah, it was a kick-in contest, and Dudley was tackled. So Pedler is on the motor cart. I think he was sort of saying that he feels fine, but
precautionary, you'd say, especially
absolutely
with head injuries and things like that.
It's a total giveaway, though, isn't it, when you're in the middle and you're trying to get up and his head was just up or your arms sort of out straight, how severe that is.
It's like your body goes into shock, isn't it? It doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's an ugly look.
9 minutes to go. Adelaide's up by 3.
All the best umpires for 9 minutes, please.
Fremantle inside 50, 25 from home.
They won't show the replay, will they, because of...
Interesting one.
Maybe because of the incident?
Yeah.
Michael Christian said pull it.
Here we go. Darcy front position, taps it down on the march is Sarong. Tried to barge through Saligo. Held onto the footy, broke out of the tackle but lost his footing. And a ball up to come Close to the top of the goal square.
That's prior opportunity there.
Here we go again. Darcy down straight to Peatling. Wrapped up in the Sarong tackle. Got boot to ball. Dinks it out. 40 from the defensive goal square. And Taylor was escorted over the boundary line. Still inside Fremantle's attacking 50.
9 apiece inside 50s. Uncontested 29 each. It's the contested where Fremantle are winning at the moment. 8 ahead.
There's some feedback from the back of the box from Andrea that his head's hit the knee of Brayshaw, so looking like accidental contact there.
Doesn't count if you left the ground, but it still caused a concussion from your leg.
If you're trying to take a hanger, nothing matters, but maybe when the ball's in dispute. Anyway, we digress because Sarong's got the footy, kicks it back inside the forward 50, high ball. O'Brien fell over in the contest. Reid was clean again, handballed it to Clark. He can run inside the forward 50, blazes away. Didn't have many other options, but didn't get the contact on the kick like we know he can. So Worrell takes the mark right on the goal line.
One of our listeners that text in about the Harley Reid and the Murphy Reid one, far out, that's going to be super tight to call.
Yeah. Just exciting for us as footy fans. Long drive from Worrell. Hits the deck 3-on-3 and Dawson gets it out to Keys. Kicks in the Walker direction, back with the flight. Chapman was trapping it front on. Brought it to ground and then gathered for the Dockers. Hands it to O'Meara. Tunnel ball through to Brayshaw. Can turn and go. Does the same to Reid. Kind bounce, but Berry's hungry and on the hunt. Hard tackle over the boundary line. Umpires will come together, as do the players, to try and rip these two apart. They're just going to throw it in whilst 6 players are still over the boundary line. Finally, we'll reset. It is Adelaide by 3. Fremantle at right half forward.
He's certainly one of the best at it, Sam Berry.
Erasmus, quick kick forward. Switkowski, not sure how he got rid of that. Play on, says the umpire. Handball goes to Bond. He wheels around, kicks down the line. One-on-one contest. Hands on it first with Warner. Didn't complete the mark though. And pack it on just forward to centre wing. You can hear the cheers from the Crows fans. Happy for a 50-50 contest there.
Taylor Walker saying to Finbar Maley, well done.
So Erasmus again, up towards Wagner. He's tackled by your man Tex there, Jamo. Crows leading by 3 points of trail most of the night. We kicked 7 straight goals to hit the front.
7:25 remaining.
Tap down, Sarong, mauled. We'll get another ball up. What are you seeing, Noffy?
Just trying to see if they've put one behind the football, but they look like they're 6v6 with the 6 free forwards, defenders.
Left half forward for Adelaide. Arm over the shoulder in the ruck contest. Darcy the offender. O'Brien shakes it. That is a miserable kick. Straight into Sean Darcy, who goes for a run on his own. Up towards the right half forward flank. Tumbling kick. Coming the other way, Amos. Hands it towards Murphy Reid. Now out to Shea Bolton. Hooks it around the body. Up towards the 50. Worrell flies. Beats him. Out the back door. Sherry gets it to Dudley. 30 from home. Switkowski. It's ugly. They're trying to get it to home. Tracy with the tumbler on the tight angle. Fremantle still in this fight. They snatch back the lead with 6 minutes to go. Tracy has 2 for the night. It is the Dockers by 3. 11-11-77 to Adelaide's 11-8-74. Final quarter of Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Sean Darcy outstanding, gave away the free in the ruck contest, but stood the mark, was alert. Riley O'Brien tried to get it on and smother, and then took off and kicked, and then Fremantle away. He's come to the bench now. Luke Jackson out into the middle, and you would think would see out the rest of the game. Just the pressure, but Josh Tracy, whether it's a lead, it's a contested mark, but from the pocket. Commonly known over here, where Eddie Betts has probably nailed a few like that.
Just a few, Jamo.
Yes.
Back in the middle of the ground, Dockers back in front. McAndrews dived on the footy and caught one high, but no free kick. And he's just talking, the umpire, saying, how'd you miss that? He goes, well, I've missed everything else. So Taylor gathers the footy. He's gang tackled. He took him on. That is holding the ball. So the Dockers have lifted here off that turnover. And brilliant finish from Tracy. They're up by 3 points.
My daughter's added more. She's gone, oh my God, so stressful. It's like a maths test.
Brayshaw inside the forward 50. Flying high over the top. Ball goes to ground. Kicked out of defence. Rankin, he fumbled there. Unusual. McVie goes inside the forward 50, but kicked it straight to Miller, who's in the right spot at the right time.
Nail-biting start to the Easter weekend. It's the Dockers by 3. Lead has been changing hands. Miller out towards the broadcast wing. Pearce absolutely careered into the back of Taylor. Cleans him up bulldozer style. Ball hits the deck. Couple of tackles. Will get a ball up. Taylor's lucky to be standing. That was a heavy hit.
Well done. Stayed under it.
Jackson down. Berry first to it. Bolton on top of him. Good tackle. Closer towards the benches. Ball up to come again.
5.5 minutes remaining.
Blues were up 22. Lost it. North winners by 10. Fremantle were up 34. Adelaide pipped it back. Dockers now in front by 3. Dawson takes it out of the stoppage. Got a handball clear in the tackle. Keys sets sail for the 50. Finbar Bailey. Full stride, launches himself into the air.
Oh, he had Riley Thilthorpe deep in the forward there. He's going to own this moment, but wow.
45 out, slightly to the right. Noffy mentioned it before. Finbar's the cult hero at the moment, but this could make him an absolute icon.
There's 2 Fremantle players on the line. Thilthorpe alongside him. Taylor Walker was out left of the pocket trying to test out the defence of Fremantle.
Originally omitted, the late in. Finbar Maley misses to the right.
That's one thing that kills me as a forward. Like, you got a quick turn. I know you're in range, but a couple of opportunities missed.
Hits the behind post, so no score either. Fremantle by 3.
Almost 27 minutes gone. What a contest we have here at Adelaide Oval with major repercussions for both teams.
Is it the defence or forward? Who's taking this much?
Tracy up the ground.
Get up the wing.
Good strong grab in front of ball ace Jamo. Now goes down the line. McAndrew tried to get 2 hands to it. Voss did. Takes on the tackler and then tries to kick a check side. Smothered, and Rochelle cleverly kept it in. Goes up the line towards Maley. And too strong was Cox. Just in a better position. Worked his opponent under the footy. Marks at left half back. Goes short to Wagner.
Fremantle by 3. Clock ticking away at the Adelaide Oval. Dockers want to go 3-1. Adelaide need this to avoid going 1-3. Wagner up to the attacking edge. Tracy, couple of juggles. Fist came late from ball ace. Hit Rochelle under duress. Handball wasn't clean. Switkowski on the turnover for the Dockers. A 1-2 with Brayshaw. Sweeping handball to the 50. Voss can turn in an acre. Head for home from 45 and miss to the right. 4-point lead to Fremantle. Game's not done here.
Patrick Voss, 2-goal 3 tonight. It's one of the easier ones he's missed.
Murray goes another long bomb down the middle into the centre circle. Cox knocks it down. Berry goes the gather. He ran past it. Left it behind. Good pressure in behind though. Good tackle on Switkowski. And we'll have a ball up just on the paint of the centre square. Just overrunning that one.
3.5 minutes remaining. 4 points to Freo.
Jackson grabs it out of the ruck. Squib kick forward. Coming at it is Dudley. Manages to gather as Jones fell down behind him. Up towards Bolton, who takes a clever mark at right half forward. Over the top of Neil Bullen. 55 out. Will take a kick of 60. He's taking his time. Lowers his eyes, looking for Tracy, who flies. A couple of crows for company, and they get this out over the boundary line. Throw in front of the scoreboard, and on that it says that the Dockers are up by 4 points. 29 minutes gone last turn.
15 inside 50s this quarter, Fremantle. Adelaide did 10.
Cracking game to conclude your doubleheader on ABC Sport. Tossed in. Freo's 50. McAndrew down straight to Berry, who zags his way away from Murphy Reid. Out to the eastern wing. Kicks towards the logo. Put down by Maley, but Keys can roll it forward. Thilthorpe's full stride. Empty 50. Kicks from the centre square. A monster bomb that is not on target. Bounces left and will be a boundary throw in inside Adelaide's 50. A chance for them to take the lead here at the death.
Probably the best outcome, I think.
I was going to say, you take a forward 50 stoppage there or a goal.
There's so much time on the clock for both teams. Fremantle with the lead, and it's deep in Adelaide's forward 50. McAndrew and Jackson, quick kick out of there by McVie, worked. Good defensive work from Adelaide, though. Keeping it around their 50-metre mark. Dudley kicks forward up towards Amos, who's met with a big tackle from Murray. Balling it up. 65 from goal. Left half forward for the Crows. Trailing by 4 points. They surged in this second half. The Dockers have got their nose back in front. Another clearance, but that's kicked straight out of bounds on the full. And Nick Murray's going to have it 80 from goal.
They just had Justin Longmuir on the big screen. It looked like he was going to pass out.
Murray, a hit and hope, places it into the 50, flying Maley off hands, running by his Brayshaw, got away from the tackler, hands it off towards Chapman. Clark under duress tumbles it for just territory out to the broadcast wing. Fremantle by 4, getting there first is Jones, kick smothered as it rolls towards the centre square, tackle laid.
That's enormous pressure by Fremantle. There's about three really good high-speed efforts just to get over to that contest.
Jordan Clark outstanding to get his hand onto Chase Jones. Still in the contest.
Jackson down to Brayshaw. They collapse on him. McAndrew gets it out of nowhere. Ripped the footy. Hospital handball over the head, but it works. Rankin running out of room. Tight walking the boundary line. Squeezes the kick to Keys. That is a marvellous entry for Isaac Rankin.
What about that? He had to take on Shea Bolton as well, and he did. Not quite sure who the other defender was, maybe Corey Wagner. Plays on.
Ben Keys has been absolutely nowhere this season. Big moment, opens the angle and curls it through for a minor score on the left. Rush of blood, and it's Freo by 3.
1 minute 12 remaining. Fremantle have the football in their hand.
They have been the better team all night, the Dockers. They lead by 3 points. Big kick out of defence. Flying was Jackson. At the back was Voss, who's happy to hold this in. So we'll have a throw in, a ball up rather, on the corner of that centre square. Right half forward for Adelaide. 32 minutes gone. Dockers up by 3. McAndrew knocks it down. Miller takes on the tackle. He cocked it high. Handball back to Berry. Quick kick inside the forward 50. Good hand on that by Chapman. Thilthorpe rides the tackle. Kicks it forward. Snapping kick. Dribbling. It hit the post.
That was Ball-Ace. Ball-Ace has gone back as an extra in the forward 50. That's James Ball-Ace.
Floated forward and was almost the hero not to be for the moment. Dockers up by 2, 43 seconds left.
I've gone wow because Wayne Miller had his head ripped off and it was play on.
McVie goes long, out to the broadcast wing, it clears the pack, sliding in McAndrew, copped a knee from Bolton, comes out Freo's way, Johnson kicks it out on the full. One last roll of the dice for Adelaide.
29 seconds remaining. Josh Worrell has the footy.
Worrell arcs inboard, gives it everything, putting up a prayer towards the 50. Murray flies off hands. Johnson leaves it for Sarong. They fall into the footy, ripped out by Keys. Peatling kicks spotted 40 from home. It centralises and the Dockers have numbers. That was a desperate defensive effort that has saved the game for Fremantle. Can Adelaide get another sniff? Miller into the 50. Big fly. Fist comes, Maley can't take it, Sarong collared, the Dockers are going to do it. An Easter miracle for Fremantle as Alex Pearce saves the Dockers at the death. They nearly blew a 34-point lead, but they win by 2 under the Friday night spotlight. They dominated for the majority of the contest, but for some reason after half-time with Freo up by 25, they dropped the anchor early and they were nowhere to be seen in the third. 7 unanswered goals made the margin just 4. Adelaide hits the front late. Fremantle pip it back through Josh Tracy and hang on for the last 10 minutes to get it done at the Adelaide Oval. The Dockers 11-12-78 to Adelaide's 11-10-76 in front of 48,627. Freo are 3-1 in 2026. What a night of footy. We almost saw back-to-back comeback victories. Carlton blowing a 22-point lead and North Melbourne winning by 10, and Fremantle are up by 34 points. Adelaide then get it back to a 10-point lead late. And at the death, James Peatling surging out of the stoppage, and Alex Pearce with the desperate smother saves Fremantle at the death. Fremantle by 2 in an epic finish at the Adelaide Oval. Rod Jamieson, Ebony Marinoff to wrap it all up.
Well, gee, you're probably right, Tom. You said that Fremantle were probably the better team for most of the night, but Adelaide really took them to the sword, and then they got on top early in that last quarter, and then the pressure just came from Adelaide. It was relentless, but some of the defensive actions, and that one in the end by their captain Alex Pearce, pretty much saved a real deep entry and being able to hang on there. But again, it probably gets down to, you can just hear what Matty Nix is going to say. He's just going to say we should never be in this position to start with.
Absolutely, and we spoke about it in the third quarter. You know, Fremantle should have been 6 to 8 goals in front, and now you're talking about Adelaide Crows nearly snagging that win. But what a game of footy in terms of their ability to fight back. I thought Tracy's finish on goal when Riley O'Brien, kicked into Darcy on the mark. Just those little skewers. And then Fremantle were able to punish and then hold on for the last 10 minutes, like you said, Aaron. Like, that's kind of, the blueprint of finals footy. When teams come at you, good attacking teams, and to Fremantle's credit, to be able to hold in there for the last 10 minutes, that's certainly an impressive win. And yeah, we're going to keep talking about what Matty Nix is going to say, but if you're an Adelaide Crows player, they looked absolutely shattered and off their feet when that siren sounded, and Fremantle obviously ecstatic. But Sarong, Brayshaw, Reid, they had the upper hand for the majority of the game in that midfield, as well as Jackson and Darcy. And, for too many weeks and too many games over the last, 2-3 years, we continue to talk about the Adelaide's midfield depth. And it's not even the fact that they have the depth, it's the four-quarter performance that we're after. Josh Rochelle started the game, in reasonably good touch. Rankin didn't get near it for the first half. James Peatling comes in and has an enormous second half. But I feel like from Adelaide Crows' point of view, it's too little too late. And you're here to win the 4 points. But Fremantle started strong. They won all the contested, the first possessions, the hit-outs to advantage, the clearance numbers were through the roof. And then if you're Adelaide Crows, you're just up against it at half-time. And that's, 40, 60 minutes of footy, and you're playing catch-up, and that's hard work. I mean, you're putting the defence under the pump every game. So as much as Adelaide Crows fans will be excited and ecstatic that they made that a close game, Fremantle deserved to win that game, rightly so, and they did.
What about in their third quarter? All their stars were kept really quiet. Adelaide dominated with their football and disposal, the way they played. In the last quarter, Caleb Sarong had 11 disposals. Andrew Brayshaw's had 10. Murphy Reed's had 8. Shea Bolton's had 7. The players that they wanted the footy in their hand absolutely dominated in that last quarter and dragged them across.
And there's been two situations. The Riley Thilthorpe turnover, last week the free kick. So in terms of the Adelaide Crows' last two games, we start talking about two moments of the games because they've had to fight their way back. Whereas Freo, regardless, take away the Geelong game, they've been in it. They've been not relying on one start. Sarong gets tagged 1 week. The others step up. Tracy kicks 4. Amos kicks 4 tonight. Like, it's been a real even spread. And, I mean, they've played 4 games now and they're probably, in top 4 contention, you say, Aaron?
Yeah, the first half of footy is premiership calibre. The three-headed, dragon up forward were firing. As you touched on, the midfielders are all shining. Defensively, they've got the superstar talent. It looked like a team that was going to blow away Adelaide. And unfortunately, and this was the question at the start of the night, was we were hoping this would be a circuit breaker for either of the clubs. We'd seen 3 weeks of form where Adelaide had started slow and came back late and lost it at the death. And for Fremantle, we'd seen them bully the lower sides and against Geelong lead early and let it slip. And unfortunately, history repeated. So Fremantle win in a close one, and that's great for them to go 3-1. But for both these sides, I think they walk away going, we didn't really prove anything. We just showcased what we saw a fortnight ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Phenomenal win for Fremantle to come over here, though, in a big blockbuster game. And I feel like they came into the week not favourites, and then obviously with the Adelaide Crows missing Darcy Fogarty, Isaac Cumming, then they go favourites. And yeah, I said a really impressive win, because when Adelaide can score and they get momentum, like I touched, their stars kind of are up and about, and it's hard to stop, but super impressed with Fremantle's ability to stay in the fight. Like, even that desperation from Alex Pearce, I mean, that's your captain, setting those standards. But I really thought even Dudley's game, like, he wouldn't have touched a lot, but everything, he's evasive, he creates pressure. You could list, all their stars that had their moments. I thought Bolton got a little bit busier in the back half, but that's a really professional win by Fremantle. And Adelaide Crows, well, you come into this game knowing that you're undermanned in the defence, and as midfield group, when you're not winning the footy, you're actually already putting pressure on your undermanned defence, and that's what they've done all year. They've been able to score in the back halves of games, but yet to start the game well, and always putting under their defence this year has been phenomenal. Yeah, it's been awesome to watch. But that's not what you want to be talking about. I mean, Jamo, defence wins premierships, but you got to win it in the guts first. And when we haven't even got to the ruck battle of, O'Brien coming in, what kind of an impact did he really have? I'm going to remember the smothered ball that turned into a Fremantle goal. But I think McAndrew showed why he is the number one ruck.
He was dominant. 31 hit-outs for the entire night. Luke Jackson had 26. Sean Darcy had the 22. Riley O'Brien had 15. Hit-outs to advantage 9. Jackson 8. But Peatling really stepped up. Clearances with 9 leading the way on the ground. But then it's all Fremantle. Brayshaw, Jackson, Sarong, Wagner. And Thilthorpe comes into there. But no, in terms of what he offers and provides, he gets his hand to it and gives them chance. But that's where Adelaide need to improve a lot.
So Fremantle 3-1 to start their season, and Adelaide the polar opposite 1-3 as we turn towards gather round. So the Crows with Carlton to start on Thursday night. Freo are going to go home, then come straight back and play Collingwood on the Friday night. They've made their way around the Adelaide Oval to celebrate with the travelling fans, and now the Dockers are heading down the race. 2-point leaders in the end, 11-12-78 to 11-10-76. Josh Money's down in the rooms, ready for their arrival.
Yeah, pretty modest group of family and friends in here that have made the trip over, but boy, are they happy and up about a big win on the road for the Dockers, who've had a near-perfect start to the season. Gave away a big lead in round 1 against Geelong, but held on by the skin of their teeth tonight, and we'll head back home to Perth for a few days to regroup and come back to Adelaide 3-1 and in a very healthy position. Bit of disorganisation getting the circle together, but here we go. Plenty of heapo there. We'll be back with their match winner and Josh Tracy shortly.
Dockers by 2 points at the Adelaide Oval. They led by 6 at the first change, kicked 4 goals to 1 in the second, boosted that lead to 25 points, got as high as 34 when Jai Amish kicked the first of the third, and from there Adelaide went on a tear. 7 unanswered goals, ended up snatching the lead in the last quarter, up by 10 at the 14-minute mark, and then Fremantle kicking 2 late goals. So Shea Bolton, which was a pretty miraculous one as he surged by, and then Josh Tracy getting one done as well at the 24-minute mark. Fremantle hanging on at the death. Ben Keys had a chance. He was tight in the pocket, had taken a mark for a set shot, quickly played on, opened the angle and missed to the left. And to James Ball-Ace's credit, fought hard as he floated forward to a pack and did his best to try and soccer it through and hit the post. So nearly a massive moment for a guy who doesn't spend a lot of time up front, and in the end, Fremantle get the job done by 2. Goal scorers, 4 to Amos, 2 to Tracy and Voss, singles to Brayshaw, Bolton and Dudley. Meanwhile for the Crows, 2 to Dawson and singles to Berry, Thilthorpe, Rochelle, Walker, Cook, Taylor, Peatling, Neil Bullen and Maley. It's been some sort of day on ABC Sport. We've got so much fallout to come your way tomorrow. So AFL Saturday from 12 Eastern Daylight Time, we'll be talking all about the Blues loss to the Roos, which was a 32-point swing. The Blues were up 22, North win by 10 late in the final quarter. And then, West Australian listeners have Sports Talk at 10 a.m. to unpack Fremantle's victory and SA Grandstand 10:30 local here to talk all things Adelaide Crows. Some good signs in the rooms. We're seeing some shots of Luke Pedlar, which is another little talking point underneath it. It collided with Andrew Brayshaw's knee in that last quarter, and as a result had to be stretchered off the ground. He looked in all sorts, Luke Pedlar, so it's a good sign that he's up and chatting to everybody in the rooms at the moment. At the time, it looked a little bit concerning for Andrew Brayshaw given the incident, but considering he made head-to-knee contact, he might be all right. And we'll track down some vision and make our full assessment on that in a moment's time. And then, the stars for the Dockers again. So Sarong 32, Murphy Reid 26, Andrew Brayshaw 25. It's a star-studded midfield that put Jordan Dawson under a lot of pressure, Jamo. And one of the big questions, I think, and Noffy's posed this through the night, is did they take too long to put Isaac Rankin on the ball? Because by the time he got there, he made a bit of a dent, and maybe they needed him to compete with those triple header of stars earlier on. Let's get some reaction in the rooms. Josh Money in the Fremantle camp.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Joined by Josh Tracy, who kicked a pretty special, what turned out to be match-winning goal in the end. Josh, you did hit the hard way, but how special was that win?
Yeah, it was good. We spoke about all week, and a bit of a motto all year. It's going to take 120 minutes every week, and today was a perfect example of that.
You nearly let a big lead slip again, just as you did against Geelong. Was that a focus in the second half to make sure, I mean, you touched on it there, but to make sure you closed out the win?
Yeah, we were mindful of that, and I think it's understanding what was going wrong for us, and there were some skill errors and simple mistakes that led to that momentum, and clearly a big home crowd advantage as well that fuels that, and I think we feel that a little bit ourselves rather than them, turning the tide. But once we worked that back over and got things back on our terms, it was good.
We talk about your goal as a moment. How about the captain, Alex Pearce, with that smother at the end? I suppose moments like that and acts like that are just why he's your skipper.
Oh, absolutely. And, we've been in moments where we've let that slip in the last few years, and, the pain of losing those games is what builds us in moments like that. And to have your skipper, give everything and throw everything on the line to jump at one and save one for us was great.
Here's Ebony Marinoff and Rod Jamison.
Yeah, Josh, congratulations on the win and the start to the season. Your balance around the football in the congested areas is really a real strong part of your game.
Sorry, you have to go again, guys. The headphones weren't working.
Yeah, so, Josh, I just want to say well done, your game, but also to the start of the season. But your strength around the congestion football, the balance around the football is super impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Personally, it's something we work on strongly every day, and as a collective, we find that it's our one wood, and once we get teams back into a contest, it really helps us.
With the three tall targets, how do you go working together? You seem like you never get in each other's way, and you're always presenting leading up at the footy.
Yeah, I think I've had this question the first few weeks every week, and I've had a different answer every week because it's not something we work on overly. It's just we've clicked pretty much straight away, and we're three different types of players that complement each other and pop up at different times.
The inclusion of, I guess, Bolton coming to the expense of just an awesome first month of footy allows Murphy Reid to also inject into the forward half as well. How exciting is that to see them in career best form?
Yeah, it's great, and Brucey's only in his second year. I think sometimes we forget that, and the way he struts around the club and the way he carries himself, but going to be a serious talent for us. And then clearly for not only him but for us as a forward group and a midfield group to have the likes of Bolts running around our four walls is pretty special as well.
Josh, we had a text in from one of our listeners, and the question was, which Reid is better out west, Murphy or Harley?
Oh, you've got to be Murphy, doesn't it?
What's so special about him? I mean, we watch it from, the stands and his silkiness. Is that what it is, downstairs?
Yeah, he's just quietly confident kid that, walks around like a 400 gamer and a 5-time premiership player. But, he's also a very humble kid. He's extremely crafty, and some of the things he whips out, I'm not sure how he's learnt that or where he's learnt it, but certainly a special talent to have on our side.
Josh Tracy with us on ABC Sport after Fremantle's 2-point victory. It's Aaron Bryant's here, Josh. Best start to the season for you. So 12 goals in the opening 4 games, and tonight you actually tied Peter Bell for 14th in the most for Fremantle history, which is a nice illustrious company. But
Gee, it feels like you're just getting started. How are you finding your game? Because you feel so imposing right now.
Yeah, really confident, and I guess was faced with a different challenge today. A little bit of unknown about ball lays, and it was quite physical compared to what I'd faced. So I knew that if I'd worked through that and stuck to my strengths, that it was eventually going to turn. I was going to start hanging on to a few, and not only that, I think if I can continue to bring the smalls into the game and open up space for Jai and Vossi, it clearly worked tonight for those boys as well.
Was that a talking point heading in that Adelaide were going to be undermanned down back in ways that JL could kind of deconstruct that Adelaide defence to get you guys the most advantage?
Oh, not really. We knew they got a lot of numbers back to support, and we knew that Worrell was going to fly in the air a lot as well and help, which he did, and something we had to work with, and personally had to work with. But as I said before, our game, we knew if we stuck in there for the most part of all of it, that we were going to wear them down.
Josh, was it a player's decision to fly back tomorrow, knowing you've got to come back here for gather round and take on Collingwood next Friday?
It actually wasn't. It was just kind of is what it is, and I think recently we haven't handled the trip too well when we've stayed and been hit with some different challenges. So, clearly everyone who decides that things are within our best interest to get home and have a couple of days back at home and then get back over and into it.
Josh, congratulations on a terrific night here at the Adelaide Oval, and we'll see you in 6 days.
Thank you.
Josh Tracy there from the Fremantle Dockers, 2 goals for the night, 12 for the year. Fremantle winners in a thriller by 2 points over the Adelaide Crows. They were up by 34 points. Let it slip early in the fourth. Adelaide go up by 10. Fremantle claw it back at the death. Shea Bolton and Josh Tracy, the match winners for them.
He's a big tick to James Borlase with his comment towards there that he felt that he was more physical than he's ever been tested this season to date too, so big tick.
I thought so too. I looked at you when he said that, because that's reality of when there's unknown and there's change and there's genuine depth players coming up against oppos. I'm sure Tracy's probably had many battles over his career, and when he comes up to those key defenders, he'll look back on that tape, what did I do well, and he'll understand and have known what he did well. But today, that's great honesty from a player to go, I'm not actually sure what I'm in for, but I'll work through it. And I thought they certainly did that. He's also a quietly spoken man for a guy that shows enormous, I guess,
presence.
Yeah, presence. There you go. That's what I was looking for. But they were phenomenal. And the fact that he, when you ask him about how do they work, it's different every game. It seems like it's just seamless. And when you have that continuity amongst your players, and he touched on even using the small. So if they're not marking it, they're creating contest, bring it to ground, and they have a great trust in that their smalls will get to work, and how exciting are they when they get to work. Just a phenomenal performance from Fremantle to hang in there. And I'm sure as much as they've been going well and they've had some strong wins this year, those gritty wins and the ones when you've up against it for 10 odd minutes, when you've got the home crown advantage, they're the ones that that you'll go home, they'll fly home to Perth, and that's one that they'll bank and remember that that's one of those gritty wins.
Big sliding doors moment where if you lead and then cough it up against another contender like they did to Geelong, you do that twice in a month, and it probably weighs with you, and it'll stick with you through the season. To be able to get that monkey off the back now, and as I mentioned before, I know I was probably a little bit too harsh in terms of the last half, Jamo, but the first was terrific. If they can do that for 4 quarters, they're up there with the best in 2026.
Well, everyone's aspiration to want to be able to play that type of footy for 4 quarters, but you just can't. You physically cannot do it, and the opposition is going to come at you at some point. So I think credit to Fremantle that, yes, for 3 quarters or at least 2.5, they belted Adelaide and used the football well. They won the football. They got it forward. They got it targets. Their defence was really miserly. But Adelaide, in a short space of time, were able to turn it on. And I think that's what you've got to look at from an Adelaide perspective, that how good can we play when we're ready to go, but we need to defend. We need to win the footy. So they're the areas that's the evolution that's ongoing. You just cannot sit still. But when you get the chance to actually nail a team, you have to put them away, because at some point they're going to come back at you again. And they pressed hard the last quarter, but the defence of Fremantle just were incredible. I think, that round 2, they lose by 6. Round 3, they lose by 8 points. Round 4, they lose by 2, and they've won by 14. So they're in the games. Matty Nixon, the coaching staff, will be sitting back just going, this is incredibly frustrating, because there's probably a quarter or more, where we've actually just give it to the opposition and we've got to work our backsides off to get back in. If we can actually get on the front foot, create that gap, and we do lapse for a quarter or a quarter and a half, at least we don't have to start again from a long way back to actually get going again.
It's the movement around the stoppage. Up here, and you're always watching on it, especially in this type of game. I thought that the contest was having a real large say. The Adelaide Crows just so stagnant, and when you have, the likes of Dawson, Berry, Saligo in there, you need to continue to keep the Rankins, the Rochellis of the world in there to create foot speed, like they have at Fremantle with Dudley, Reid, Bolton. They're completely different players, and that was the biggest thing I saw tonight, was just the Fremantle's ability to break lines through stoppage with their foot speed, and seeing Adelaide Crows just a little bit flat-footed at times and being reactive, and that was kind of the tale of the first half, and then their ability to get themselves into the game. But if you're Matty Nick sitting here saying, "Oh, how good is it for us to be 2 points?" That's not what you want to be talking about. So they've got to do something about it. They've got to be doing something about their slow starts, and you need your stars to start performing well from the get-go.
I could put a hat on. I don't know if I can grow a beard in half hour, but I could go into that press conference and act like Matty Nicks, and you can almost guarantee what he's going to say. But again, I have to go back to the credit of Freeman. In that last quarter, there was two matches. What about Jordan Clark's tackle out here too, in front of us?
Jones
just anticipated, and Jones was going to kick it back in deep into the forward 50, put him off balance, comes to a contest, and then the Alex Pearce smother. They're match-winning moments. And so as good as they were all game, there was a couple of real critical moments.
Does Riley O'Brien play next week?
I think the ability to be able to have Phil Thorpe, you want him around the ground. I think at one particular point I just asked that was the time that Adelaide should have pulled the trigger and put a stronger ruck midfield in and get Phil Thorpe in the middle, get McAndrew in the middle, get Rankin in the middle, get Berry in the middle, and go with that. And we didn't see that really happen tonight. It was the start of the last quarter where both sides had their absolute jets in there at that critical time. So probably not, because he doesn't give you enough. If he doesn't sit behind the footy or he's not winning it, I think McAndrew and the other tools, and throw Finn Barmaley into that point.
He just competes, doesn't he?
Yeah, get him in the middle. So
35% game time for Riley O'Brien, which is the interesting thing. I mean, could you have a runner who can burst off half back or can do something? And that's not a personal thing against Riley, but it's more of a strategic thing as a coaching staff. That extra spot on your bench, I still think clubs are struggling to know what to do with it, and teams have opted for that second ruck. Were they maybe scared of the two ruck combo of Fremantle and didn't back their own game in? But 35% game time for that fifth man on the bench is probably not what it's designed for, is it?
Well, I think Luke Nankervis misses out, but I think that's the type of player you want, isn't it? Like a winner, a carrier, and then maybe have him go back and then have Miller into the middle. Like Miller in that second half, he really kept it together, and the way he used the football. So you want someone with, like Peatling, that second half of him was incredible from an Adelaide perspective. So they're the types of players that you want to inject. I keep saying, this is the third week I've said it, I don't know where Sid Draper is at, but I would throw him into this team.
He's been playing Sandful.
19 touches, I think,
I
in
would
the game
throw him
night.
in here.
Charlie Edwards had 29.
Well, you lose Luke Pedler, you would think.
Yeah. Totally.
So, how does that play out? Because he's been playing more of that hybrid pressure forward. I mean, Zach Taylor, he seems like everything he does touch. He's a pure footballer. He's got a bit of hard nut about him, but it's a hard role, the small forward. But I think he'd stay. But this is what happens when you have injuries. You start thinning the depth, and it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Dan Curtin is not too far away, so I'm sure Crows fans are certainly waiting for him to be back on the park.
So that's a good segue. Rod Jamieson, Ebony Marinoff, your experts as we unpack Fremantle's 2-point victory. I was going to get into the Pedler incident in a moment, but we've got some reaction down in the Crows room, so let's head down to Josh Money.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Joined by Finn Barmaley, who's just finished his second game for the Crows. Commiserations, Finn Bar. Came so close in that second half. What was the comeback down to?
What was the comeback down to? I think we just got our hands on the ball first, really honoured the contest and stuck our tackles really well, applied pressure, and then we're able to get the ball in a bit more flow and on our terms.
When did you know you were playing tonight?
I found out this morning. I was out for coffee and Maddie Nix gave me a ring, so I was just got to do my role.
Just as we were setting up, I said, how are you feeling? You said, I'm feeling sad. Can you just talk us through the disappointment of that? Is it more about the way you started tonight rather than the way you fought back?
Yeah, I think we obviously need to work on that. But then obviously the emotional roller coaster in that third quarter was just fantastic to play in, and even most of the last quarter were just vibrant. The boys are up and about playing team footy, and the crowd's going berserk. To then get the lead, lose it, and then have opportunities. I had mine and didn't capitalise, and it's just sort of you get all the way back up and then let back down.
Your first goal as an Adelaide player was a special one. It's going back a bit now, and I know you won't want to celebrate too hard, but that was a nice moment.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever kicked a check side in my life, so I just thought, it's the moment. And then I had, I guess, for my second attempt, I had a snap from the boundary. I thought, testing my luck, so I gave it off to Braden Cook, which is smart. I thought was smart.
Here's Ebony Marinoff and Rod Jamieson.
Finbar, you just spoke about team footy in the second half. What was the message at half time? Was it that you guys weren't playing team footy in the first half?
Well, I guess the message more so was just like to own body and just get our man done. I think just be a bit more honest in the contest and win our ball rather than constantly being chasing.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a bit of reactive, but it was your first game at Adelaide Oval. How was it to be out in the Oval?
Yeah, Adelaide Oval's just unbelievable venue. Hey, and the city's so vibrant and loves their sport. So it was a little bit overwhelming when I first ran out, and then settled in pretty easily.
Just sitting alongside Taylor Walker and Riley Thilthorpe, you feel comfortable?
Yeah. Very comfortable with those stars, and a little bit of a pinch myself thing. But yeah, they're both so good about sort of helping me get to the right spots and getting around me when I put my body on the line. And it's pretty surreal, really.
Oh, Finbar, everything we've heard about you and what we've watched, and you add so much enthusiasm and contest to the forward line, so you absolutely fit well in. So congrats and all the best for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.
Finbar, just before we let you go, a couple of quick ones. Pre-season training, so there's been a big spotlight on how intense you went, and the messaging from the club was to get you ready for September. Caused a few injuries. How has the fallout been internally, given how hard you went before we even started the campaign?
I think you just train the right habits. Obviously, you don't want to hurt your teammates. Wasn't my intentions either, and I don't think there's been any bad blood between me and my teammates.
And what was the messaging from Matty Nix when you were originally omitted?
We had Tex Walker coming back into the side, who's a 300-game plus player, and Riley O'Brien was playing really good in the SAMFL, deserved his spot as a second ruck. I'm not really a ruckman. We wanted to roll with the two ruckmen, so I thought that was that was the message. That was the message.
I love the honesty, Finbar, and as Jamo said, I think you relished the opportunity tonight, so congratulations, and thanks for taking the time to chat to us despite a disappointing loss.
Thanks, mate.
Finbar Maley on ABC Sport after the Dockers got over the Crows by 2 points, 11-12-78 to 11-10-76.
Where did you hear that?
Which one?
The impact that he had, and he went too hard.
I didn't say that, did I?
Is that what you said?
I was implying that they trained too hard in the pre-season.
I thought you were implying that he went too hard.
No.
I think he was questioning who's told Aaron that I have bad blood with my teammates.
Yes,
that sounded like how he interpreted it as well.
I think he heard it that I think he heard it that Mark Keane contest.
Yeah, that was.
I think he heard it that way. Where
Yeah.
I feel like you posing it as more of a a fitness
broader
type thing where the hamstrings that are going.
Are you going to get another call?
Yeah, probably. That's all right. We live and die by it. We are fast running out of time, and I really wanted to touch on the Luke Pedlar incident. So we've all seen the vision now. Pedlar's running through the middle, looks to kind of handball, loses his footing. In the meantime, Brayshaw was thinking about tackling, jumps into the air, realises what is happening, and tries to guard himself, and Pedlar falls headfirst into his knee. And I guess most would say, look, it wasn't a shoulder-to-head contact. It wasn't like he jumped into the air and braced and hit him, so he's probably going to get off. The problem is, Jamo, this is very similar to the Braden Maynard incident, whereas if you leave the ground and put yourself in a precarious position and then injure your opponent, the rule has changed over the last few years. So the AFL now currently deems it as with the change for smothers means that when a player leaves the ground in an attempt to make a smother, the player's act will be deemed careless at minimum.
Well, that's probably it.
So Brayshaw's probably in trouble then.
Yeah, I think he's in trouble for that
So
reason.
Is it one for careless?
Careless high contact. We can go through the...
Well, again, because you'll actually have careless high contact and the outcome. So what were you looking to do? He's left the ground, lost control.
The preface is unless
impact.
the player has taken reasonable steps to avoid it.
We have the umpires come to us, and they say when you leave the ground, you have a due diligence that you have to protect the player. I don't know what Brayshaw does in that, but it's like when you
that'll be their argument is what does he do?
What does he do? But did he need to leave the ground?
Yes. That's the hard part.
Because I think what he's falling, isn't he? He's going to handball, but he's gone to ground and he's jumped up and
and he has braced to protect Pedlar in the upper half. It's just that he's fallen
just
into
got
his
the
knee.
hey?
So this is a really odd case.
If he goes for that and Braden Maynard got off a bump to the head of Brayshaw
into a finals campaign too, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It'd be a total disgrace.
Yeah, but the context is the rule changed.
I know the
after
context
that.
has changed, but I still sometimes think that would be outrageous if he's suspended for that. Now, I know the rules have changed and there's a big movement to all these things, but sometimes, you step outside. If you don't step outside, nothing will ever happen to you. If you don't play footy, you won't get injured. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think in terms of the... I hope he gets through, but I think he might be in a bit of strife.
Freo will have a lot of ways to argue, I think. So even if it does at some point go to a tribunal or something, or even if it's just a suspension and they can contest it, I think there'll be a way to get out of it.
If you went on a road trip, who'd be your best company?
Finbar Maley. Not after that. Not after that question.
Not anymore.
No.
If you like a quiet
there
trip.
is the worst one here too, by the way. So Braden Cook says, my best company on a road trip is Lockie McAndrew.
Take up all the space.
He's worst. And I actually want to see this bloke play just because of his name, Indy Cotton.
Yeah.
Is he a bit of a pest, is he?
He's the b-baller, isn't he? Yeah.
Votes? He's got the task tonight, 3, 2 and 1.
Well, I've written them down, but I'll...
We were nearly on cue, but
last time we
we
were
were
in
bang
sync.
on, weren't we?
Yeah.
You go.
1 vote, Andrew Brayshaw. Outstanding.
Noffy's nodding. Good start.
So he's had 10 tackles, 11 contested, 14 uncontested, 7 clearances, 7 inside 50s for his 25. I'm actually going to go Peatling for 2 votes in terms of, what about his game?
If they win the game, we're talking more about Peatling.
He's had 5 tackles, 15. He's had 8 clearances, 6 inside 50s, and 11 ground ball gets. So he's had a monumental second half. So I thought James Peatling, 2 votes, but 3 votes. Caleb Sarong, an incredible game, 32 all up. And he's had 8 tackles, 13 contested, 19 uncontested, 6 clearances, 6 inside. He was quite in the third, but outside of that, he was hugely dominant in and around the ground and in the middle of the ground too. So, congrats to...
3 to Sarong, 2 to Peatling, 1 to Brayshaw, and because you've been giving me grief all night, I'm going to give it back to you. So, 4 goals to Jake Waterman last week, didn't get a vote, ended up on the front page of the West. 4 goals to Jai Amos tonight. He did. And 4 goals to Jai Amos.
His haircut. That's why.
Well, I would have probably put Amos in there. I thought his ability to finish as a key forward, that's your job, and he just presented up the ball, and I thought he created numerous contests.
Yep.
Easy. There we go. We've
Or
wrapped it
Andrew
up.
Brayshaw, 7 inside 50's got to get it to him.
I mean, they were pretty prolific around the ground.
You guys having a
today.
beat up after we all leave here? Are you guys all good?
I don't know. The double pythons are going to come out.
Look what's turned up.
I think Jamo's going home with Finbar, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Dockers by 2 points.
Aaron's not.
Absolute thriller. So they were up by 34 in the third. Adelaide kicked 7 unanswered. Hit the front by 10 midway through the fourth, but just can't get the job done.
Special mention, Amos.
Fremantle 11-12-78. Adelaide 11-10-76. And earlier, Carlton blowing a 22-point fourth quarter lead. North winners by 10. We're going to unpack it all tomorrow. So AFL Saturday 12 Eastern. Sports Talk 10 a.m. out west. SA Grandstand 10:30 here in South Australia. Then we've got Richmond and Port Adelaide from 3:30 Eastern. West Coast and Sydney to wrap up your Saturday from 7. VFL's on tomorrow as well. iView around the country, or in Victoria you can get it on free-to-air. Round 3 action, Werribee and Geelong, Werribee and Geelong from 12 o'clock for the VFL tomorrow. NBL Game 5 Sunday as well. 2:30 Eastern Daylight Time if you want to hear the call on ABC Listen. Fremantle 3-1 to start their season, and Adelaide, a couple of big questions before gather round at 1 and 3. We'll see you tomorrow to unpack it all on ABC Sport.